and a 2 and a 3 and a 1. Hello, what's up, everybody? It's Mxiety. I am on tonight with the wonderful Asikaa. Everybody
Hello.
say hi. Hi. Thank you so much for the follows. So the way interviews go, just so you guys know, is that we focus on the questions and holding a conversation. I will open up the queue. You will type in exclamation and the letter Q if you want to ask any questions, but they kind of will be woven into the conversation, so that I might not ask them like immediately right away. But we do need them to continue the conversation. You are a huge part of this. You are what continues to make this work. So that's that. So be sure to don't think just because you're in chat you get to sit there quietly. Nuh-uh,
Yeah.
not here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You guys are incredible. Required tech issue in every stream in my experience. Yes, Bliffle. Absolutely. That's exactly where we are. Oh my God. Asikaa, I have you on. You are on the
Yes.
show. You
We're
are
here.
on the
We've
freaking
made it.
show. I know. It seemed like for like so far away, and then
Yeah. And then it was just upon us. So I kept like checking the calendar to be like, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget.
oh, I would not let you forget. That's not how this
Yeah.
works. That's not how this works. I sent you questions a week in advance.
Yep. No, you were very professional.
Professional. That's a
You
fancy
guys heard
one.
it.
Ooh, professional. I got
Ooh.
endorsed. I
You
mean,
did.
you're constantly endorsing me though, so I can't like
Always.
I can't
All
sit
day.
here and pretend like you don't. Thank you so much for being on. I'm gonna geek out a little bit. This is probably second coolest to like meeting you in person and giving you a hug, which is now one of my life
Very true.
goals.
I give good hugs out here, so
Oh man.
you
All
know,
right, all right, all right. One day. One day.
one day.
One day. Oh my gosh. Uh we unfortunately, Michaela, I can't add subtitles to this type of stream because what happens is I'm very sorry, but what happens is they will only capture my side and not Asika's side.
Mm,
So
yeah.
sorry about that. Thank you so much, everybody, for the follows. Rip. I know. One day we'll have magical, amazing closed
Hmm.
cap, or that, or I'll get myself the very expensive $400 thing, the sound thing, and then all the sound comes through in one piece, and then it records it. It's a thing. Yeah, one day we'll have the technology. That's the. Anyway, Asikaa, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us an overview.
Lifelong gamer. I've literally been gaming as long as I can remember. Been streaming for about 5 years. Moved to this beautiful platform 3 years ago. I actually don't know exactly how long I've streamed because it was like an on and off thing for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been a partner here on Mixer for just over 2 years, and
Wow.
yeah, I just like really love, you know, experiencing games with people, playing games with people, the conversations we get to have, and like just getting to interact with people from like all over the world, which is like super awesome.
That
So,
like blows my mind, right? That there's people,
mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, in your community also everywhere. So
Yep,
did it start like super small and then it kind of exploded? Because you're kind of a
yeah.
big deal. You're kind of a big
Uh,
deal.
it did start kind of small, like literally started streaming just to like teach people how to play World of Warcraft. Like it was just like a in guild thing, and like yeah, I was like, oh yeah, so you can like stream your game and you guys can watch me. So we would do it for like raids, we do it for like PvP, and it was like a requirement. Like if you guys want to raid, we just want you guys because we had a lot of like just people who were just not very good, but they wanted to do the other content, and it's really hard to get into groups. So I was like kind of sympathetic to that. So I was like, okay, well, here, watch the stream. You guys can see what we do and how we do it and whatever. And yeah, it was really cool. And then my internet was because the reason I started doing that was because I'd moved to the States to do my internship.
Okay.
So I worked in a psychiatric hospital in New Hampshire. And I just like, it was wintertime. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have a car. So I was like, okay, I'll play World of Warcraft again because I quit to go to college because I'm like,
Right.
there's no way I could play college and do World of Warcraft. I just video games are too addicting, you know? So,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, right. Like understatement of the year. If
Content
there was a
warning.
video game called Go to College, I would ace it 100%. But actually going to college, I needed to, pay attention. But yeah, basically I had, really good internet apparently, and when I got home, I couldn't do it anymore cuz my internet sucked.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yeah, once I moved out again and got my own internet, I was like I'm going to like dabble back in it again, and then yeah, I think I was on Twitch. Like Raven, S Raven is one of my like original mods from Twitch.
Whoa.
So we go way back. Um And yeah, we just kind of, I decided, I think 2.5 years into streaming, like pretty much every day, that I wanted to be, yeah, see, Whitey Gamer knows. I lived in Concord, Whitey, so you know. And yeah, just like, I just decided to dabble, and then it was, a few years, we just started to grow people in the community because, we focused on like positive engagements, having fun, and it wasn't like it wasn't a big deal. We weren't focusing on being the best. And then decided I wanted to be a partner. And then it's like, wow, how do you be a partner on Twitch without killing yourself?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
And then learned about Beam and was like, oh wow, like the partner requirements are like, it was like 30
Reasonable.
concurrents. Yeah, like I was getting 30 concurrents on Twitch at the time. So it's like, oh, okay, I need 200 follows. Just needed to be on the website for a few months. Unfortunately I didn't, it took me 3 tries, sorry, to get partner. But
Really?
yeah, it actually did. And it's amazing because I always give Wes Wilson crap every time I see him because he was the first person who reviewed me. But it's always been a collective decision at Mixer.
Okay.
And I actually got to, I mean, he and I joke about it all the time, but the conversations that I had with him during my conversation, I just got to whisper to lean left. I'm like, oh, lean left. Thanks, Rick. I learned a lot in our conversation, which really put me on like the right mindset to get partnerships. So I was really thankful for those failures to.
Do you get interviewed really to be
well,
partner?
I don't know how they do it anymore, but yeah, back then you like wrote an application. They didn't give you any guidelines, very minimal guidelines, but there's kind of, everybody kind of worked together and we all like gave suggestions and like, people would like read my letter and like suggest new things to like put in it. And yeah, they interviewed you. And at the time, like I really like just had no clue what it meant to be a monetized content creator. So I learned a lot in those brief times.
But that's really cool. So it took you, do I get that right? It took you like a year to
Only
get
no 6 months. Only 6 months.
Okay.
Because I was always very lucky, and they only gave me 30-day resets.
Okay.
So I could apply for partner a lot quicker than other people could. Again, they didn't give me the full 2-month wait period. They're just like, okay, they're like, we just want you to do this little tiny thing that you're not doing. And then I figured out what it was, and I started doing it. So.
Oh my gosh, that's really that's also really cute. I mean, it's kind of a hoop to jump through, but if you can figure it out, if you can get it, then
No, I was happy too, because we always say like failure. I embrace failure because you learn so much from it. It sucked, trust me. There were a lot of tears, because the first time I got denied, I literally was waiting all day. I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna find out today, so I'm just gonna wait. And then I literally like, okay, I gotta stream. I can't wait anymore. I hit the go live button. I came off my starting soon screen, and then the email popped. Aww. And I got denied on stream. It was awesome.
But yeah, so it sounds like they at least personalized it a little bit for
you. They did, yeah. They individually congratulated you. I mean, Mixer is still like, I feel like for a lot of us original partners, like they've still kept a pretty personal touch with us. Yeah, no, it was definitely, once I got it, it was like it was a pretty big deal. Aww. I felt for them too. So
that's
awesome.
It was great. I hope everybody was interested in that. I know that's not mental health talk, but we're gonna be all
we're gonna be all over it.
We're
Don't
gonna
worry,
be
guys.
everywhere. But so I mean, I'm assuming that did mess with you. And okay, so you're embracing failure, but how else do you? Like, how do you not take that personally? How do you not go, you know what? F it all. I'm not doing this anymore.
I mean, it was tough too, because like there were people in my first push, especially, who were like, hey, can we like, I don't want to, like, we don't have to play together, but can we multi-stream? And we'd set up a multi-stream and we'd all share viewers. And like they got partnered and I didn't. And I was like, ooh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then like, because I was going, the second time I applied for partner, I was going through a breakup with my wife. And my ex-mother-in-law is a Mixer partner as well. And I got her into streaming, and she also got partnered before me. So there was a lot of like messy things that really made it complicated. So it was like it was a rough time. Like, and I think I just mentally got my ass kicked that year. That was 2017. Yeah, I just got my like butt kicked. Like I took a lot of time off in between that like second one, and just a lot of like, do I really want to do this? The people that stuck by me, the people that supported me, at the end of the yeah, it's gonna be a lot of oops, guys. It's gonna be a lot of oops. I'll pre-warn you, but it's all good. It's all good. It was a long time ago. Um, and yeah, people just like stuck by me, and they're just do whatever you need. And like the funny thing too is like, you know, I had this like guy like DDoSing me during my second attempt. Yeah,
No.
it was crazy. Just like, because I don't want to get into the whole rigmarole of it, but we
Sure.
found out after, and it was just like, dude, are you serious, man?
Like
It
literally
was just
nothing
like,
else to do.
yeah, just so we just, you know, restructured, refocused. You know, I completely changed everything about my channel.
Whoa.
And you know, I just stopped trying for it. I just let it be something that just happened. And you know, when I was applying the third time, it was, you know, an even worse situation. I was, you know, moving out of my place that I had lived with my wife, and she basically just left with, you know, she took most of her stuff, but she left a lot of it behind,
Oh
and like
gosh.
left me to clean it, left me to do everything.
Right.
So, you know, and I found out that day when I was moving that I got partnered, and it was like,
Oh.
okay, I just got to get through this, and then I get to literally do my dreams. So that was pretty awesome, and it was literally just like, it was good that it happened because I could look inside myself and see all the things that I was doing that was like toxic, or like the person I was wanting to not become, and I
Right.
was able to, you know, kind of refocus with it. And I was going through counseling at the time as well. So counseling, and that's when I started taking medication for the first time.
Wow.
So I had a lot of support and help because it was a really, really bad time. And like, you know, when you're faced with all that, like looking back at it now, it's like, holy crap, like I didn't realize like how much actually, since we've been talking in these last few minutes, I'm like, that was a lot of crap that happened in one short period of time.
Oh my gosh.
But
Sometimes you just have a shit
yeah,
year. Like you just
sometimes you
do.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it's 2019 now, and that's behind me.
and not then. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad you got through it too, and I'm
Yeah.
actually super honored that you're sharing that. I went through some rough times emotionally trying to
Hmm.
get through because Twitch rejection is very generic. And
Yeah.
so, and for somebody who does have depression, anxiety, like you just turn
Hmm.
inward and you blame yourself and kick your
Hmm.
own butt and talk, you know. And I haven't, obviously, I'm not eligible to apply here yet, but
Hmm.
like that scares me endlessly. Like, did I leave Twitch and now I'm coming over here and I'm just gonna subject myself to more of that? I hope not. It's
Hmm.
scary. Yeah, yeah. So mental health, you kind of touched
Hmm.
upon it. You kind of touched upon the fact that
Yeah.
you took medication. So let's go all the way back. Let's go
All right.
all the way back. When is the first time that you figured that, hey, like maybe I'm not at 100%. Maybe something's up.
So when I was a kid, my parents divorced when I was 5.
Okay.
So that was kind of the first initial like, holy
That's
crap,
yeah,
what
yeah.
the hell? I mean, I'm not the only person. Everybody, you know, I know a lot of people who
I'm a
have
child
had
of
similar
divorce.
experiences.
Also five.
Yep.
I was also
Uh,
5 or 6. So yeah.
yeah, it was 5 or 6, and then a few years later, like my grandmother who looked after me died of breast cancer.
Oh my goodness.
So then it was like, okay, and it's funny because I knew that it happened, but my mom didn't tell me. But I just have a sense. Like I just always had this like sixth sense. And phone call came. It was like 4 in the morning. It was like, who else is phoning at 4 in the morning, knowing
Right.
what's going on with grandma and all that. So grandma passed away. And also too, like I've always had short hair for the most part. Like I've yo-yoed and okay, I'm gonna have long hair again. But being a kid with short hair too, like just constant target
Yeah.
to get picked on.
Yeah.
Like, and we all get picked on. I'm not saying that my
No, no,
situation
no, 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 no.
is
And
unique,
but
but
do not take away from the fact
yeah,
that like your suffering is just as crappy as anybody else's suffering,
yeah,
and the fact that you were picked on is just as crappy that
hmm,
somebody else was picked on. So
yeah,
yeah.
totally. And fifth grade was probably the worst. Grade 5, as we call it in Canada here.
Oh, oh,
Uh,
oh, very different.
very different. People get really confused when I say grade 5. Um, but yeah, this like one person, just like this one girl, just singled me out and just like made that year just miserable for me, to the point where like my teacher actually called my mom and was like, "Hey, so like what's going on?" You know, and like you could actually go back and read in my report card what my teacher wrote. where it's like, oh, like if I were a professional, like as professional now, looking back and reading that, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a key moment right there.
Yeah.
That year, right? So I kind of knew something. I'm like, man, I don't think everybody wakes up and feels this way, you know? And then all through high school, like went through my life, just, you know, that feeling of depression, one of my counselors worded it the best, is like, where do you feel it?
It's like right
here,
yeah.
right? It's
yeah.
And it's like, what does the sensation feel like? Like she was very touchy feely about it. Like that's how she did. And she's like, if you don't like touchy feely, I don't have to go. I'm like, I'm fine with touchy feely. We can go touchy feely. But she just said like where, and I'm like, yeah, that's always where I felt it, was in my chest. But I never really, because you know, then growing up knowing I was gay, but it wasn't accepted yet.
Right.
Like it was a weird thing because I didn't really go through relationships the same way that like other kids were. Like everyone's getting girlfriends and boyfriends, and I'm like, well, I think I want a girlfriend, but I don't want to tell anybody. You know?
I'm not ready to talk about it.
I'm not ready to talk about it. I didn't come out till I was 25.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, so and how early do you think you knew? Like, how long did you keep a secret?
Oh man, I think I knew when I was like 5 years old.
Wow.
100%. I was probably, I think because I always like would have like crushes on girls in class. You know what I mean?
Oh, so like everybody's like, oh, that boy's cute, and you're like, yeah, that girl's really cute.
Or it's like put on this dress, and like my mom would always try to force me to put on dresses.
Sure.
Right? And it's like, I don't want to wear the dress. And like my mom has a picture of me, and I should totally find it and share it on social media, because it's like I'm wearing a dress, but I'm like wrapped in my blanket.
Oh my!
The only way I'd leave the house is if I could take my blanket with me.
Oh my!
It was hilarious. My mom's like, I thought you would forget about it within 5 minutes of being there. There's like pictures of me playing, like wrapped in the blanket. And I'm just
my god!
And, you know, it wasn't
family, you. Right? No, it wasn't you. It was like you knew. Kids know what they need.
Yeah,
a lot more than we think they do. Yeah.
Oh it was pretty funny. And I'm like, I was just so dead. I'm like, I didn't like dresses. I didn't like long hair. I was really into wrestling, like the WWE.
Oh shit!
But it was like the thing when I like first started experiencing, like, oh, you know, this is an okay shirt for your brother to wear, but you can't wear this shirt.
Oh.
But as a kid, you don't really get it. My dad would always pick up on it, and would be like, hey, well, this is why your mom wants you to be a girly girl, you know.
Oh, yikes.
I don't want to be, but no,
but I feel like in the 90s it was also like super gendered, right?
Super
like
gendered.
The aisles in the stores are like, this is the girls section of toys, pink and blue. Yeah, this is where all the Barbies are. Boys don't go into the Barbie aisle. And like I've rewatched that episode of Friends where Ross freaks out because this kid plays with a Barbie. Yeah. And I cringe so hard, but like that was a relevant problem. That's the thing. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I would like to think we've moved on. I mean,
I think we have. You know, I'm pretty impressed with some of my friends. Their kind of route on parenting. You know, I see it in some of it, but you know, some people are still, you know, you do what you learn. You know, you do what you see, and a lot of it is, you know, it comes from the top down from your parents and your experience and whatever. But you know, so we grew up in a really chaotic environment. Okay. I have 2 older brothers, and you know, my dad just in his obsession with making my mom's life miserable because they were divorced, not realizing how much he was making us miserable.
Right.
You know, it's the trade-off. So it was like, you know, something I carried forever, and just, you know, I was good with rolling. Like, I've always just said, just keep moving forward. If something's bothering you, like, which isn't like the best, but it's like, well, what can you do, right? Like, you don't have
especially control. As a kid, you have zero control over anything, so you just have to keep like assuming that tomorrow is going to be better than today, and that's all you got.
It was just funny though, is when I was in, I think grade 1 or grade 2, I actually asked my mom to go and see a counselor. Oh my god, somebody followed me on oh god, I got XSplit open still. Whoopsies.
It's fine.
I just got my ears blown up.
Oh my god. Well, I can't hear it on my end, so it's totally okay.
Good. But yeah, I actually asked to see a counselor. No, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're good. Don't worry. That just scared me a little bit because it was so loud. But yeah, so I asked to see a counselor actually when I was 6, and it was hilarious because I went and saw the counselor, and I was already like going in all ready to talk about everything. what was going on and bothering me. And then it's funny because what annoyed me is I never went back because I'm like, they just wanted to play checkers. Now, as a professional who works with kids, now I know why they did that. But it was like, I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, we can sit here and talk it out.
Let's talk
today.
about my family. Let's talk about my childhood.
Which is, it's just funny. Like, I should have kept going with it because that would have been, man, I probably could have gone on a different path. But yeah, I started.
Wait, back up. You could have gone on a different path as a kid,
in life,
or
just,
as
I think as for coping, like learning how to cope.
Yeah.
You know, because at the time, it's funny because I remember being a kid and being such a controller smasher. Like if I got angry, whatever. And now, like I haven't smashed I mean, as an adult, like I've still smashing controllers 5 years ago against the floor. You know what I mean? Or punching the wall. Like I
do you have one of those
2 years ago?
Do you have one of those day since incident?
I should, man. Honestly, I should. Because I don't. I just like the other day I was slamming my mouse on the thing when we were playing CS:GO, but you know, it's definitely not as bad.
This is so bizarre because I've watched you play with some awful, terrible people, and you are so patient and nice and just like, yo, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Like you're so nonchalant about it, and so like I honestly I look up to you and kind of take it as an example. Like okay, so that's a good thing to do. Like I see how she takes it all with poise. So to hear you that you're like slamming things, that's not the same person to me. Okay.
Total rager. Okay. But I just like for whatever reason, I decided like 2 years ago, I was like, you know, I'm done. My hand hurts from punching stuff. I mean, mostly the wall punching really came out with the whole split with the X. Yeah. That was really the big wall punching moments of my life. But yeah, Raven can confirm I'm a rager. You know what, Raven? You yell at me in video games more than I yell at you. So. Raven also recently got me killed in a game, and he is not willing to take responsibility for it.
Oh, so that's gonna live on forever now.
It'll live on forever until he admits that he got me killed.
Oh, bad blood.
We were playing, and so anybody who knows, we were playing hardcore Diablo as well. So that character's dead forever. I can never get that character back.
Oh,
it was bad times.
Oh my god, that's a permanent grudge.
100% a permanent grudge.
Oh my god, you'll never live that down. Start sending an apology card a day, and maybe by year 10.
Maybe.
But
I wish I learned like those coping skills, because I think they would have been really important too, because you know, I sit there and I go, I look back at like all my friendships and stuff, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of like, especially with the like feelings of like knowing I'm gay but not like wanting to talk to people about it, like the internalization of it. I think I could have dealt with that a lot better. So now it's like, okay, I can't internalize things anymore. That's what I learned like when I started going through counseling. So
is that what happened? You just kind of like pushed it, like blamed yourself for being
blame myself, you know, because one of the things that me and my ex like would you know, the main thing is like we would split about is like, or fight about, sorry, that led to us splitting was like, you know, she had mental health problems as well, and didn't want to get support for them. So then I would just get so overwhelmed because she wasn't able to like deal with what was going on in her life, and it was holding our like collective life together back. And it was actually, I learned in counseling, I was like, well, you know, we got in a fight and I said this and this, like these really nasty things to her. And they're like, okay, so we broke it down. And then it turns out like those are all the things I felt about myself. Right. And I was just saying them to her. Sure. It's like, holy crap, if I want to make sure that doesn't happen again, I got to fix those things. Yeah. And so how do I fix those things? It's like, honestly, just not. So when you play video games, especially competitive video games, so say, like I was just playing Fortnite, right? And you know, we got like ran over by a team like that were horrible, just horrible, and holy crap, we just lost to them. I could yell and scream at my teammates, but like all it does is just amp me up, and then my anxiety just gets up even higher. Right. If you just stop having that reaction, and like I think that's one reason why my anxiety is so low now, is because I don't put myself in anxious situations. Sure. And whenever I do get mad, like yesterday, I got super mad when we were playing DayZ, and it was because I just stayed in an anxious state. I got put in an anxious state because of the situation the game put me in, and then I stayed in it, and then I got mad, and then I was like, you know what, let's just switch and do something else, and I took myself out of it, and then we had a much better playing experience. I'm pretty sure Cooper would agree if she wasn't sleeping.
But like you have to learn that about yourself.
Yeah,
It takes time to figure that out, and learning. The other thing is, I mean, you can figure out in a, you know, like that story you're talking about, figuring out after a fight, like, oh, this is stuff I have to work on. Chances are, if you're in a relationship that isn't working, the other person has just as much stuff they need to work on, and they need to be just as willing.
But I can't control that.
You can't.
I can't control
that. That's a
that.
really healthy attitude about it. You can't control it. You're right. Yeah.
And, you know, and it was unfortunate. I really wish I hadn't got married because we were only married for like 9 months, because now I got like a messy divorce to go through that I still, man, talk about procrastinating. Guys, please, if I'm still not divorced this time next year, can you all like stop me?
I will give you crap for that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
It's horrible.
But I can't imagine it's an easy, because it's one of those things where when you have to do it, you have to confront whatever residual feelings you might still have about it. You have to confront them. They're going to be right in front of you.
Totally. And I'm just like, man, why can't I just
can this just disappear?
Breakup.
Yeah.
You know?
Just make it go away.
Breakup, so we could have left. But, you know, it is what it is. And hopefully, you know, maybe it'll be another trip to the counselor for a little bit. Who knows? Maybe not. But...
Whee!
Yay!
Road trip.
Yeah.
Oh my
Seriously though, guys, the biggest thing I did for myself, honestly, was going to a counselor. And the counselor wasn't great. She was interesting. And actually, to be honest, when I went to couples counseling first with my ex-partner, and it was my couples counselor that made it worse for me.
Oh,
that actually caused me to spiral to my lowest.
Shoot.
So be very careful who you work with. If it's not working for you, tell them. If they don't fix it, please like go and get
right on top of that. Yeah.
Counselor, because counselors are human. You know, one of the reasons, like when I did recreation therapy, I didn't really like doing the counseling side of it. I was more the facilitator. Like I liked going out and doing the actual activities, and I liked having those conversations. Like I didn't like doing the sit down in the room.
Yeah.
Where it's all like, oh, all this stuff's going on.
Right.
I preferred doing the activity-based counseling. So, because it is tough, and you know, I don't hold it against the counselor that I had a problem with, but yeah, it was really bad. And the new counselor, who was focused on my interests and my needs, was way better, because the couples counselor and it ended up being a me versus them situation, which I'm like, how did you let this happen? You're a couples counselor.
Yeah, wait, this is literally your job to not get into the middle of the whole thing. That's why I hired you. I'm giving you money to not be in the middle of this, to be an impartial. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, low key, because I live in Canada, it was free.
Okay, we're Americans here. We're trying not to talk about that.
I'm sorry.
This is an American podcast, okay? We pay for our health care. Yeah, I'm sorry too, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It does.
Free health care, how about that?
Yep. This is when I dab. Oh, okay.
Oh no! Oh, she did it. You made her do it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
You gotta attach.
I need a second.
On my arm.
Oh my god! I need to
healthcare.
Oh my god! I need to recover from this. Hold on, everybody. Give me a second. It's paid.
I mean, we do pay it in taxes. But,
yeah.
You know.
But we pay for it twice. We pay boatloads of taxes and still don't have health care. Yeah. Yep. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's back this truck all the way back to childhood town. So you were talking about the fact that like as a kid you knew you were gay, but you had to kind of really push that aside just because you didn't want to talk about it. And like, is it a thing where you're, hey, I just don't want to be ostracized even more than I already am?
Yeah, I'm like, of course I would be gay as well, among all the other things. Like my ears were too big, my nose was too big, I looked like a boy, blah blah blah. It was whatever, and that's just kids.
Yeah.
But also like,
dude, kids suck.
Kids do really. I tell kids that all the time. Like, we talk about bullying a lot. Like,
yeah.
I have a lot of kids who watch my stream and whatever. I'm like, you know what, man? I'm gonna tell you right now, you're probably gonna get bullied again, and it sucks, but it's a part of growing up. And there's a lot of lessons. Like, I'm glad. I accept now. I'm like, thank you for bullying me when I was a kid, so that now when people try to come in and say all this stupid stuff to me, I'm like, okay, like
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Say something worse to me, please. Like, entertain me if you're gonna insult me.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of people who got, like, I had one friend, like, I swear our friendship went on a completely different term because she was really like internalizing, like, oh, you know, she was embracing the victim aspect of it,
Yeah, I
which is
can't
totally
do
fine
that.
to do because it hurts, it sucks,
Yeah.
you know, and I would never want to relive it, but like she couldn't see why I was glad it happened to me, you know. And when I was in grade 9, one of my classmates came out, like he was kind of forced out of the closet,
Oh
but
no.
it was out there and whatever, and then, you know, he got beat up for it, and I'm sitting
Oh.
there going like, I don't want
Well,
that to happen to me.
thanks for testing the
Yeah,
waters,
yeah,
buddy.
thanks, bro.
I'm just gonna
um
sit over here now in the corner and never say anything
and
ever
never
again.
say anything
Yeah.
until our 10-year reunion when I brought my at the time wife, and yeah, that was great. um yeah, being outed is, it's the worst, and like it was one of those things where like everybody knew, and that even pissed me off even more when everyone would be like, oh yeah, we totally knew. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't care, you didn't have to tell me that you were straight,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So that's
you know.
friggin' different. F you.
Yeah, f you, you jerks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's times where I wish I maybe, but I also feel like, again, like, I'm so cliche for saying this, but literally everything happens for a reason, and you know, you just got to sit there and find the good in it, even in the bad. Like I said, you know, I embrace that I got bullied because it made me who I am today, and I can do this job and not crumble from somebody coming in being, herder, you're a dummy, you know.
So yeah, so how do you do that? Because I've also, like, I've seen you handle that with so much grace and poise. Again,
Mm-hmm.
very admirable, and I watch it
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like taking notes mentally. I'm serious. I'm very serious. But then I've also seen you be like, yo, I could not handle that, guys. Like,
Yeah,
I need a break. I
yeah.
need a second. And then I've seen you bounce back from that like way faster than anybody else I know.
Yeah.
So is it just because you've grown a thicker skin to say, or is it something else? Like, what would you say to somebody else who's not just who is right now experiencing the same type of bullying, who's streaming, that stuff really gets into your head? So
Yeah.
any advice, any like what
My
how do you
biggest,
internalize, like, yeah, how do you internalize it in your
so, you know, a mixer, you know, we get featured on the carousel, and that was
yeah.
like anytime, like there was a period of time where it's like, okay guys, we're on carousel, all my mods know when we get featured, like a call out goes into mod chat, we're on feature, they all know what's gonna happen, because again, are you a girl or a boy, and like all
Yeah, I've
that
seen
stuff,
that.
are you transgender, blah, like all these things, you know, that they think they're being funny, and saying, and I want to make it clear too, I have no problem with somebody asking me if I'm trans. I have more, for me, it's more like when you sit here and see a girl with short hair and just assume that person's transgender, all the people who aren't, you know, able to pass, it's an insult to them, in my opinion. And like, if you like just scroll in people's profiles, if they're out about it, being trans, they will be open and talk to you about it. If it's not in the profile, please don't ask people that.
Right.
And Raven, you are a total troll. I will not 1v1 you. But yeah, whenever we're on feature, like it can get insane.
Yeah.
Like I even had another streamer come in, and I got his account suspended because he just came in and was like, oh well, being gay is wrong. Like that's all he said. Being gay is wrong. So like we
Who
just
says
reported
that?
him.
It's
I know.
2019. Get with the program. That's not even an insult anymore. That's just like
Yeah.
weak
I'm
sauce.
like, yeah,
I don't.
okay, like whatever, dude. Like that's your opinion. But his whole thing was like, oh well, it was just part of the conversation. I'm like, the part of the conversation was people like throwing hate speech at me. It wasn't a conversation about gay being right or wrong, you know. And unfortunately, when accounts get suspended on Mixer, you're able to get your account back. So that person did get their account back, and where they were able to continue streaming. But I hope, you know, maybe they change their mind of openly expressing those kinds of opinions. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah,
Do you think that
it
they learned, like they actually maybe changed their mind, or do you genuinely,
I hope
or do you
so.
think they're just like, I'm just gonna think this, but to myself?
I think so. And
Yeah.
honestly, like I personally, you know what? I'm sure there's probably some people on my channel who had never talked to a gay person before they started watching my channel.
Okay.
And if people have opinions that differ from mine, that's cool. That's fine. Just don't share them. You know, just don't share it. And we've had people come in who've been in the channel for like 3 4 months, and then suddenly come and say, oh, you know, this blah blah blah, and it's like this super like kind of xenophobic crazy thing where it's like, wow, you should not have shared that.
You should have kept that shit opinion to yourself.
So we try to educate. We'll have conversations about it, and then I kind of leave it up to them. You know, if they've been in my channel for a long time and it kind of comes out of nowhere, I'll kind of say, hey, look, like, this is how we feel about it. You don't have to feel this way, but we just don't want you to spread that kind of stuff. You know, I'm okay with people having differing opinions. I just don't want people to use my channel as a platform to hate on other people, basically. But
right, and it's not just having different opinions. I think the difference is are your opinions hurtful and hateful to other people, right? Because if you, I mean, 100%. if you're like, I like chicken, and somebody goes, well, I hate chicken, that's an opinion. But I'm not even gonna present an example of, like, if you're just presenting hate speech and being like, well, that's just like my opinion. Well, you're just wrong. No. I'm sorry. Like, no. It's a wrong opinion. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Yep. Yeah. So sometimes, like, it's all in just how we started calling it like Asikaa roast hours when I got featured, because then it kind of just became like a thing. So it's like, okay, when there's a troll, it was like, oh, what's Asikaa gonna say? What's Asikaa gonna say?
Do you guys have bingo? Like, oh, somebody asked me what gender I was.
We
check.
Literally, it like we've joked that we need a counter or whatever. Like, what? I just don't want to bring attention to it. I just I just like to help. Move on.
Yeah.
But we actually should include some kind of bingo, Raven, for sure. That might actually be fun.
Just internally, just for you guys, because you don't want to feed it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. What really bothers me the most about it all is how it impacts my regulars.
Yeah.
Who just want to enjoy the channel. And I sit there too, and then I kind of like look back on like the roast thing. I'm like, because one of my viewers came in and asked me my pronouns, and I was like thinking they were trolling, like,
sure,
you know, some people are asking legitimately, which I'm like, okay, like, if you really want to know, you know, I can tell you. My Discord is going crazy right now because I don't have Xbox open now, so I'm like trying to close it, but I can't.
It's okay. It's okay. I guess my question is, do you take that personally? Like,
well, yeah, I do, because, well, at the end of the day, like, if a troll comes in and causes a problem, and, you know, maybe they don't ruffle my feathers, but then they ruffle my regulars' feathers. And it sucks, because then my regular has a bad experience, because they're like, one of my regulars threatens he's going to poop in people's driveways all the time if they mess with me. Funny, at least it's funny.
That's right? A really good one, and like child appropriate and everything, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
But it does, like, it stresses him out at the same time. Like, it ruins his opportunity to enjoy my stream. And as a full-time streamer, it also, people click, like, I've had people click into my channel and it will just be absolutely toxic. Just super toxic.
Yeah.
And then people come in and they're like, is your channel always like this? I'm like, no, it is just feature time, and because it's feature time, it messes with opportunities for me. And
that
like,
sucks though, because I mean, I've seen the front page of Twitch. Like, my friend was on yesterday fundraising, and holy moly, and she's like a white cisgender straight woman, and she got so much. And then I have another friend who is black, and that goes in a totally terrifying direction. But I was kind of hoping that Mixer doesn't. But, like, people are people, I guess. It just matters what platform they're on and how the platform then handles it.
Yeah. The beauty of it is we can suspend the account.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. The account gets suspended. On Twitch, you'd have to wait 3 months for them to even respond to you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And yeah, it's just it's kind of nuts, because I'm like, I try to not, like, but like there's people who click on my channel and go, oh, well, I thought you were a kid, so I didn't want to watch your channel, but now, like, I clicked on it anyway, and I've really been enjoying it. And I'm like, how many people have, like, scrolled over my thing, and just because I have short hair and perfect jeans and don't have, like, wrinkles and stuff,
which, by the way, very freaking jealous, but go on.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Grandma and Grandpa. But yeah, like, how many people have, like, skipped over my channel because they think I'm, like, a kid because I have short hair? You know,
it goes like, both ways, though, dude. Like, how many people have skipped over my channel just because they saw the word mental health and were like, ooh,
I don't want to touch that.
Ooh, she's not gonna be funny or entertaining. Yeah, that's crazy people. I don't want to talk to them. Like, and how many? And how many times have I had people, like, I've had people come in and be like, mental illness is made up, and we've had, like, people that are like, oh, you're just all drug seekers. Like, there's a, you know, every niche has its weird lid that doesn't need like,
Yeah.
yeah. But and so I don't want to trivialize your experience.
No,
It's
no,
different than mine, of course, but I mean, like, you know, people, my point is people skip over channels for a lot of dumb reasons, and then they'll take it, right, or they'll come in and they'll like say something stupid and they'll take a moment and they'll be like, oh, this is actually like a really good conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, can I be part of the conversation now? Like exactly what you're saying. Take 5 minutes to get to know me once you click on the channel instead of just scrolling by because you made a prejudgment. That's on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, I just, at the end of the day, like I kind of slowed down on like roasting and burning people, because at the end of the day, you know, I still want people, like I would hate for somebody to, because it happens all the time. Like I see it, you know, people tweet about it. Oh, I saw this streamer say this to this person for no reason. Like, no. There's never a no reason on Mixer, at least. Twitch is a whole nother story. But on Mixer, for the most part, like I've never seen a streamer go out of their way. Well, okay, that's not true. There's a handful of people. But for the most part, like I've never actually seen a streamer on Mixer go out of their way to be toxic to somebody. And like there'll be these subtweets about it, and then the original, like the person will see it and will give the backstory. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's like, well, how many people have you bought in with your one side story? You know, it's crappy. And I don't want people to ever come on my channel and be like, oh, this streamer just makes fun of people. Like, no, I really freaking don't. I only make fun of the people. Or like, they'll question, oh, you say that, you know, you focus on positivity, but you're being really toxic right now. I'm like, right. Yeah, because somebody just like came in and said like XYZ to me. So I need to get some enjoyment out of all this.
But then you also look like a jerk because you're justifying yourself. You're put in a place where you have to defend yourself, which automatically just makes you look bad no matter how you place it. Yeah, there's not a good way.
It's a balance. Like, now I'm like really focused on, okay, is this person just like trolling me? Like when I was talking about the pronoun person who ended up being a really good regular. I haven't seen them for a while, but like they started, you know, I realized what they were doing and apologized profusely and said thank you for being polite. And you know, I tried to, and they,
but it's so hard to tell. It's so hard because some people do come in with genuine questions and you're like, is that a question or are you being a douche, like sideways? I
always find though when they come back, when you've kind of given them some, like with the transgender thing, a lot of people in my community who are transgender that hate when people ask me if I'm trans.
Well, because they're not asking for the right reasons. Yeah,
exactly. And then when we explain, if they are, oh, thank you, that was really good information, or if they're an asshole, then it's like, okay, yeah, you are probably a douchebag.
You can go
for the wrong reasons. Exactly. Yeah. And we actually don't really ban people on my channel either.
Oh, really?
Long time outs because we want to keep the follow.
Oh, wait, if you ban, do you not keep the follow?
No. If they're banned, their follow is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you want to keep those follows, just give them a big old timeout. You used to be able to time them out for 100 years.
For 100 years?
You can't do that anymore. Now you can only time out for
50.
3 months.
Okay.
3 months. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know because our ban hammer is strong here. We just swing it and go. We have a 2-strike policy, so like we give you a chance to redeem yourself, and then if you come back and usually when you give somebody a chance to redeem themselves, they'll either come back with, oh yeah, no, I'm so sorry, that's totally misunderstood,
I was an idiot.
Right? Or immediately they'll double down. Like there's really that's usually only 2 scenarios, and so if it's the double down scenario, they're out, and then we'll just call it a day. I
also think too, like, you know, maybe this kid, they're 13 or whatever, and then when they're 15, because that's why I do the 3 months. I'm like, come back when you're a little bit older, maybe you'll be more mature. Because like, I said I'm so glad I did not live like recording or anything. Oh my gosh. When I was a kid. Some of the crap I used to say, holy crap, I'm so glad that was not recorded.
Oh, dude, all of it. I look through like my old notebooks and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy you didn't live journal this. Like, I'm so glad this is just in pen. Thank goodness. Yeah. Oh my gosh. 10 years does seem appropriate, S. Raven. For some people especially. You're like, wait, you're 13 now? Come back when you're 23 and we'll have a different conversation. We'll have a different talk.
Exactly.
So do you feel like, So do you feel like, I feel like I know the answer already, but do you feel like being part of the LGBTQ community like messes with your mental health, just period, just having that background?
I don't know. I would say I think the biggest thing with being LGBTQ right now is like uh sometimes I feel like people get into like we always joke, oh, lesbians back the U-Haul up to the second date because like gay couples we just move quicker than normal couples do.
I'm sorry, I
So,
don't know if it's
yeah,
appropriate to laugh. I don't know why
that's
I'm
totally
laughing.
appropriate to laugh.
Okay.
So man, somebody had an even funnier
No,
joke
you
that
said U-Haul, and I was like, I'm still behind. I'm not hearing
yeah,
the rest of it. I was like, back
yeah,
up the
you
U-Haul.
bring the U-Haul to the second date because like I mean me and my girlfriend like we moved in. It was probably like 6 months after we'd been together. It's a thing, literally, it's a thing. And somebody had a backup joke to that, and it killed me. And I can't remember who it was or what the joke was.
Is the back up the U-Haul? Are we
Back up this. It was like the following joke in the sequence, and I don't know what it is. So if Arden, did you tell it? I don't know. Somebody did. But I think what ends up happening in this community is like people get into relationships that aren't necessarily the healthiest for them because the dating, like I know like the dating pool is super small where I live.
Sure.
Like I was just lucky that I met Koopa. She watched my stream and played H1Z1, and exactly that, Diva. That's exactly how it goes. And yeah, it just I think people get into relationships that aren't the best for them because the dating pool is so small. And then like now it's great because all these like there's like all these people coming out who are like, well, I'm bisexual and but then now it's like, okay, but like who do you want to date though? Because some people it's just like it's a sex thing, and then other people it's a romantic thing. It's actually I want to have a relationship and date women, or I want to date men.
All right, so but now you're just dealing with the same problems that straight people have had. Yeah, it's just
a murky pool now.
It's just been okay. So maybe things are a little bit cleaner, but like straight people have been trying to figure out who do I want to have sex with versus like seriously forever. Just we've been doing it like super loudly and over everybody else trying to figure things out.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's like I see dogs. Yeah, right, Arden. Exactly. That's literally what the gay community is. Like, are you gay? Okay, you're not. Okay. I would just say for the mental health side of it, I mean, I think because we also struggle with. So I always tell people like we talk about like coming out, and we'll talk about it a lot, and like I feel like if it's something that you feel like you need to do it. But I'm like, none of my straight friends ever had to, justify to me what genitals they preferred. So why do I gotta, tell you guys? It's kind of a weird, now that I look back on it, I'm like, it's a super weird concept that I have to go up to my friends and go, hello, I now like vagina.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is my sexual orientation. It's the same.
Super weird.
Yeah, it's the same thing where people have to say what their pronouns are. Like that's becoming. On one hand, I'm like, that's great. Like I'm really glad that I get to know because there is so much going on in the patriarchy that like I'm going to presume what I presume based on how I was raised. So I'm very glad that you're going to come over and you're going to tell me your pronouns. I will very happily use them. But on the other hand, like, man, I wish like that didn't matter. I wish we could just create like a more inclusive language, period. And then we wouldn't have to worry about that stuff. And
And I find, well, and it's funny too, because so like I play a game of CSGO and usually we honestly, every day now, guys, when we play a game, especially CSGO, and somebody asks if I'm a girl or boy, y'all are getting them a million cool dudes every time it happens now. But like I had a conversation with a woman about it because she asked me, she's like, oh, I don't want to offend you, but are you a young boy or are you like an older woman? And I'm like, okay. She's like, well, I just didn't want to offend like a 13-year-old boy. And I'm like, so you're okay with offending a 20-plus-year-old woman? And you're more concerned about the 13-year-old boy's feelings than my feelings? The 13-year-old boy that doesn't even exist?
My question is, and this I firmly stand on this, why do you need to know? Like what will be affected by the fact, so like now she's a 20-something woman. Now what? You get to be
I always ask. Yeah. And like literally I'm like, why does it matter? And they're like, it doesn't. I'm like, well, you're asking, so it does. So why does it matter? And well, I just want to know. But why? And then they literally don't, they just never tell me. I'm like, I just want to know, please, somebody tell me.
I blame the patriarchy. That's why it matters. It's
I guess it
needs to be defined.
Like,
you feel
they want to know how they feel about me.
You think that's it?
I think that's 100, because I get a lot of like people who come into my channel who backseat game. So if I'm learning a new game, like when I was learning a lot of League of Legends, you know, I'd sit there, I'd get in a fight, and I wouldn't use Flash. And it was like the biggest thing in the world. Oh my God, why didn't you Flash? I'm like, well, sorry, dude. I was kind of like just focusing on running away. And then I died and I forgot because I don't play this game, you know. And then one time I had a situation where I just straight up asked him, like, would you go into Jared FPS's stream and ask him that question? Would you say that?
That's a great question.
And they're like, no. Okay,
that's your answer.
That's
your answer. Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, and that's just the way that it is. Like, you know, I see girls all the time on Twitter just saying, like, I'm tired of playing League of Legends because every time I do, I have 20 people who come in and just tell me how to play. And like, I'm like, yeah, like, I just want to play the game. I know I'm not good. Coming in when you're like, yes, okay, I say I'm a silver player. You know, I get a lot of people who come in and watch me play CSGO who don't know that I've been playing for 5 years and I've been much higher ranked than I currently am right now. You know, they come in and they like, you know, oh, you should throw this flash here or do this. And I'm like,
why are you telling me? Yeah,
I'm like, I didn't do it in that situation because I didn't want to. Like, you know, you're not going to sit there and coach me through single step I take in a game. So I also found like I stopped playing video games with a lot of people because like when they play with me, they feel like they have to coach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never asked you to coach me. I'm like, I want to learn experientially.
Right. The same way you got to learn. Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to learn the same way you. I actually have this argument with my husband regularly where like I'll be taking my time to figure something out, and I'm a video game noob, like, you know that, I've told you. Yeah. So it takes me longer to figure something out because I don't have like the understanding of video game mechanics down the way somebody who's been gaming like forever does, right? So I have to figure it out from scratch, and he gets really frustrated and he's like, just do this. And I'm like, but you just robbed me of the ability to figure that out on my own, and that sucks. And now I also am going to call you a mansplainer, and that is like, God, that is so, I'm going to use it. I don't use this lightly, but like he gets so triggered. Holy guaco.
I bet
he's like, I'm not, man, no, that's not. You just call everything mansplaining. I'm just trying to tell you you needed help. I was like, I didn't need help. You presuming I need help is the mansplaining part. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
and it's just, you know, it's tough. Like, yes, you're streaming a game, you're gonna deal with those people. Yeah. But then like, you got to deal with them being angry at you. And like, you know, I'm gonna just say it on the spot. I was reading one of Rez's tweets because, you know, I follow her on Twitter. And like, you know, I've been kind of curious, like watching her go through this journey since I met her of like moving to Mixer and streaming and stuff. And like, you know, for her, it's like really tough because she's like, well, one, I have this person coming in backseat game. I got to explain them why I don't like it. And then my chat gets really weird about me having to like, you know, she's got to put the mom pants on.
Right.
And, you know, and it becomes this really weird, like, just thing. And like, you know, my whole answer was to her was like, you know what, like, you're gonna get better at it as time goes. I've gotten better at doing it. Like, I used to just crumble and like give in and be like, oh, thanks. And then it turned into this really awkward situation where, you know, suddenly I'm getting really angry and I'm like, okay, I know why I'm angry, but I don't know how to tell the person. So because it's just going to turn into this big thing where they're like, oh, well, you know,
we're gonna go back
I'm just trying to tell you how to do it. Yeah. And I'm just like, screw it. And I just stopped playing with the person. So now I'm a lot better at it because I'm tired of it, I guess is what it's came down to.
But that sucks because, like, again, like, Jared FPS doesn't need to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not a thing that some people have to deal with, and that blows. Like, just automatically, some people do not get the assumption that they can't figure something out, and that sucks. And then the fact that I have to explain to you why it's not okay for you to assume that I'm an idiot is also not okay.
Well, and it's like, I always tell people now, it's like, you know, you get a really high-ranked player coming into a low-ranked player's stream. And I'm like, do you go to kindergarten and make fun of all the kids because you can read better? Like, you know?
I mean, that's the kind of person who probably would, though, to be honest.
They might, but
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of the equivalent, you know, and but people do it, and now I'm a lot better at dealing with it now, but you know, it sucks to have to do it, and like, but you know, having the same conversation, like people, everybody's new when they come into your channel, like
Right.
people ask me all the time how, like, I had early access to State of Decay 2, and I had to deal with literally every hour about 100 questions of how do you have access to the game.
Okay.
It's like, so having to explain that over and over and over and over again, like 100 times an hour, you know, it was exhausting. And everyone's like I went into other people's channels and they're just like being rude to people. And I'm like, okay, so like that person just joined. They don't know that you've answered this question a million times today.
Right.
So they're like looking at you, like this is their first interaction with you. Like, do you think they're going to come back to your channel? I highly doubt it.
Right.
So yes, it is mentally exhausting, but at the same time, like, you know, obviously if they're asking to be a jerk, like if it's a dumb question, like asking if I'm a girl or a boy, you know, that gets a little bit tiresome, but asking why I'm doing something I'm doing is a little bit different to me, you know?
Yeah, no, and I get that, but it's also not,
Commanded.
that's also not personal, right? Like, why are you doing what you're doing does not imply you're an idiot, or does not imply you are wrong to look a certain way, or just, you know, like that does not, it's not about your appearance. It's just, it's genuinely a question about, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
different.
yeah, I just explaining to people that, look, like, you don't got to freak out on people for asking like a harmless question. Like,
Right.
yes, it's mentally tiring, but that is literally your job.
That's your
as a
job.
streamer.
Yeah. You don't, there's quite a few responsibilities you have as a streamer. That is one of them, to be polite to people. I mean, if you want to provide like good entertainment, I guess you could be a dick and just,
Exactly.
you can.
Just to answer too, I do delegate to my mods sometimes, but what I've noticed is that a lot of this is mostly on Mixer, because we're getting a lot of people because of the Xbox app that are new to watching streams, and they just ignore the chat. The chat doesn't exist to them.
Yeah.
Their only point of communication is the streamer.
Yep.
And there's people like typing like crazy. Hello, do you not see me like typing to you?
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like, and that's the same with my description. I took my gender out of my description because nobody reads it.
Right. So,
you know,
like, what does it matter?
I'm like, I feel weird having to type that I'm a 30-year-old woman.
Yeah.
So I'm not 30. Wow, I'm 31. Oh God.
31. Get off my show, old
I'm
woman.
32 in December.
Oh my gosh, get off my show. We don't, I'm sorry, we don't, this is over. We don't have old people on our show.
Yeah, I'm a senior.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm 29. I'm not that like far behind.
Yeah, you're knocking on the door.
I am. I've been telling, I think and I'm sorry, my regulars already know. I've been regularly telling people that I'm 30 just out of habit, because my brain is like, oh, I'm turning 30. So like people ask if it comes up how old I am. I'm like, yeah, I'm 30. And then I'm like, I'm aging myself a year. I don't need to do that.
Yeah. Don't do it too soon.
Yeah.
Enjoy being 29.
Yeah. Mxiety is old. Yes, S. Raven. It is what it is. What can I say? By the way, you guys, the letter exclamation and the letter Q, if you guys have questions, we do have one. We do have two if you would like to answer them. Bliffle Splick says happy early birthday. Not a question, but still. So there's that. And then Dr. Crocodile asks, how do you, or would you, huh?
I said she did lie to you guys.
Oh, I did? I did?
About your age.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is what it is. But Dr. Crocodile asks, how do you or would you deal with offensive anti-LGBTQ name calling? Do you have any advice?
I don't tolerate it at all. Like, it's a report. It's TOS breaking. Like I said, they can get their account back. So they get the report. Mixer decides what they're going to do with it. And it just isn't tolerated. Like, you know, I have somebody I played DayZ with yesterday. We met him in game, so he's not somebody I met through my stream. And he was saying, "Oh, that's so gay," and he was saying, "Oh, that's retarded." 2 words I don't allow in my stream.
But like, who uses those still? Sorry, go on.
Teenagers do. You know. I mean, I said it all the time when I was younger.
Yeah, but I thought that was like our stupid lingo. You know, like every generation has like stupid words that they phase out. I thought that was out, like done.
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't know that, like, oh, and he's a very nice person. That's literally in the 17 hours that I've probably already gamed with this person, that I met them 2 days ago. you know, that's the first time that they said anything where I'm like, oh, I just got to mention it to him. Because I know he's not doing it to be hateful. He's doing it because it's a habit.
And you're cool with giving him that credit?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I can message him and be like, look, dude, like, you know, we don't like those words being used. Can you not use them? Like, and I know one, he's going to go, oh, yeah, because you're streaming. And it's like, well, if I wasn't streaming, I also wouldn't want you to use that word anyway. But I'm also not. I don't know. I think.
Wait. But if they have the wherewithal to know that it's not a cool word to use on stream, then they know that they shouldn't be saying it.
Yep. But some people, I mean, like I said, I used to say stupid words too. So I try to not like. I feel like there's too many times where we jump all over people all the time.
Yeah.
And
especially
I just
online.
try to not. Oh yeah, online it's brutal, and I just kind of share like, and I hope that me being like chill about it, it helps motivate them to like. It takes that like okay, so I'll use an example where I was playing CS:GO, and my teammates were just super negative towards women, just like, oh, you know, everything was, is it because you're a woman? Like it was nauseating how like. I think actually somebody told me, they're like, I left your stream because I couldn't deal with it, but I'm like, I had to keep them unmuted so I could understand what was going on.
Right.
And it's funny because like I just like joked about it, whatever, like joked back at them, just like making fun of them, like without them knowing. Like somebody asked me, they're like, you're really good at like getting people over to your side when you're talking about it. I'm like, yeah, I just like joke about it. I joke about it, and then they don't realize that I'm slyly educating them at the same time.
Right. Well, and if you're nice, the person is less likely to get defensive, and they might think about it on their own time. I mean, they might not. Who knows?
It's not my job to like sway everybody, but like,
sure, if you can.
It's like an easy, it's an easy thing to do. You know, just I'm not. I went through a period in my life where I would jump on everybody all the time and get pissed off and try to force them to change their minds, but you know, I feel like as soon as we take that, I feel like if it was a different situation, like if it was something like aggressive or violent, completely different. Like if somebody, there's a line that I walk where I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't give a shit what you have to say, and I just mute them.
Sure.
You know, and someone will be like, well, you know, we need everybody to work together, so could you unmute them? I'm like, no.
I don't want to listen to this trash.
Like,
no, I don't
have
to. Yeah.
You know, and they'll try to kick me from game and whatever, and it's dumb, but you know, at the end of the day, exactly. Yeah, but double K92, you gotta walk the line, man. Like there's times where you can be funny and joke about it, and there's times where, you know, you want to pick up the torch and you want to discuss and try to educate people, and it's up to the person who's experiencing it to decide when to do that. Like, you know, if somebody can't, like people come on my channel and say all the time, why don't you just like, what is the big deal? Just let it go. Or like, why are you freaking out? Just keep on doing what you're doing. I'm like, because you know what? I'm like, right now, I'm enjoying this. This is what I'm enjoying doing.
Sure.
And I feel like the education is for other people. It's not necessarily for the person doing it. It's for other people too. So.
First of all, don't tell me when to be offended.
Yeah.
First of all, if that bothered me, it bothered me. You being like, let it go is not going to be like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't think of that. But yeah, no, they do want reactions, and that's why they say it. But I don't think everybody wants reactions. I think some people, like if you're describing a person who knows that the word, you know, gay and are not are not appropriate to just use colloquially, and they know that, and they continue using them, like that's not somebody who's doing it for attention. That's somebody who's just like, this is a thing that I do because I feel like doing it. And you can either educate them in that sense, or you just go, this is what you're going to continue doing, so I can remove myself from it because I can't control your actions.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. This is good. This is really juicy, meaty talk. If you guys have any other questions, exclamation, the letter Q. It's weird when you find yourself in communities where things like non-inclusive words are used, and their excuse is that there's safe space to be non-PC, like a guild meme. But it's not. Can we wait? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what it means to be PC. Yeah.
One of the things that, like, I mean, that me and Arden have kind of experienced is coming back to classic WoW. We're in. I'm not playing classic WoW anymore, but Arden still is, and I think he's still raiding with the same guild we were with. And you know, we just, a lot of people left in my from my community from that guild because like it's like everybody in classic WoW just thinks that we've teleported back to 10 years ago and all those things that they used to say 10 years ago are still okay to say.
Yikes.
But it's like okay, like I get it, but like, you know, you don't have to do it in guild chat. Like
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people, like one of my mods likes making really dumb jokes that I can't stand. I don't know if you're listening, Ultra. Um, but he knows not to do them in general chat. He does them, and every now and then he'll like whisper me one to mess with me, and I'm just like, you know, and I shake my head, and he gets his chuckle moment, but he doesn't do it all the time.
But that is okay, but that's for attention, and you can either again give it to them and be like, all right, I'm gonna play along with this, or you can be like, I'm just gonna poker face this, and you know.
No, he literally does it just to get the reaction on camera so he can get his.
But that's different. Like that's a level of trolling. That's like
it's a friend.
It's right? I know I'm going for this reaction. I don't really mean it, and they know that. Like the person receiving it knows that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think no, I think people like collectively, and I find too like the whole like gender thing. Like I find it's always men mostly who have an issue with trying to figure out if I'm a girl or a guy, or like, you know, I think a lot of it too is like they want to know if I'm a girl or a guy so they know what jokes they can make. You know, oh, can I make kitchen jokes? Blah blah blah. I'm like, well, those are dumb jokes. Why are you even making them?
But
anyway?
yeah, I don't understand the need to. Okay, so fine. You know what? I'm oversimplifying it. Like, why do you even have the need to say that? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So they already have the need to say it. So let's presume like they can't use any other language. So this is how you're going to go about. You're gonna ask me permission to say crappy things, so then you know that they're crappy and you shouldn't be saying them, but you're choosing to say them anyway.
I think one of the big things that's like shifting it too is like, you know, the groups that don't like the content that these people are wanting to discuss. But now, like, you know, the LGBTQ community, we have more social capital now. You know, we have more people who are out. We have people getting elected who are openly gay. So we're in a position now where we can fight back, where we don't have to tolerate the intolerance anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's funny because they're sitting there calling us snowflakes, but like literally our feelings are the same in the middle. Like we want to be respected and they want to be respected. And it's like, okay, but we both have, my dog is the worst, I'm sorry. We both have to work together and just give a little. We got to give a little.
Both.
I'm like, you know, if you want to tell a freaking off-color joke that makes me cringe, as long as it's not like racist or hurting anybody's feelings, if you want to tell a joke that walks the line and, you know, it's like, oh, you want to make me cringe once in a while, whatever, you know, I'll give that to you, but don't do it all the time. Right. Like I can put up with a little bit and I'll give you that, but like you got to give me something too.
Right. Well, if it's all the time, it's a sign of something else, I think, right? Like if they're just doing it once in a while, it's really ribbing. But if it's all the time, like, hey, so I now know a lot about you. Like, I know, yeah.
Well, it's funny because I don't know if you guys know who Don Cherry is.
Not yet.
So Don Cherry is I struggle calling him a Canadian icon, but basically he is the face of Hockey Night in Canada. Has been for 3 decades. He is known for colorful suits and lots of those kind of, and recently he made a comment, and this is one of many comments. Cringes in Canadian.
Okay, you guys, I'm American. We talked about this before. We have shitty healthcare and don't know who Don Cherry is. Go on.
You should Google him right now, though, so you can get like a visual representation. But he has always made jokes about European hockey players being weak. His dog is famous, though, too. Right? Blue is very famous, and he's had one, but it's not the same dog. He always gets a new dog when the other one dies.
Oh boy.
But he basically made just, you know, a comment about how
I know this guy because I watch hockey. I know that. I just don't know his name.
You know Don Cherry. Yeah.
Okay, come on. Okay, guys.
I struggle calling him a Canadian legend, but he is pretty iconic for Hockey Night in Canada. But he made a comment about, so in Canada on Remembrance Day, which is your guys' Veterans Day, we wear a poppy. And he made a comment about how, you know, immigrants and refugees, they like our milk, they like our honey, but they can't spend $2 and wear a poppy. that was his big thing, assuming that like they don't care about the sacrifices that our armed forces have made. You know, blah 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 blah. Like they like coming and taking what they want from our country, but they can't support and show a poppy or wear a poppy. Which, you know, I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, I looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, did you even wear a poppy this Remembrance Day? I'm like, I put mine on. I probably wore mine 2 or 3 times over the. You know, I kind of look at it as like November 1st to 11th. I'll wear my poppy. I have one tattooed on my arm, so I'm always wearing one.
Oh, shoot.
But you know, it was just like, yeah, and he used the word "those people."
Right.
You know, you people.
Right.
And it's like, you know, if you could line up 10 people, like he's really only upset about the immigrants who aren't white at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Because like,
yeah.
you know, because like a white Canadian could not wear a poppy and that would be totally fine. But because it's an immigrant, it was like, you know, this big thing. So he got fired.
Oh.
So, but it's like a long line. It's been a very long line of him making these kinds of comments. You know, and everyone's sitting there going like, well, you know, whatever, like keep politics out of hockey, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. It can't just be one side of politics. Like he gets to say,
right.
you know, all these things.
Right.
And like, he has said many worse things, but literally, but I think the thing is though, is because now there's a lot more people in government because he was basically called out by one of our members of parliament in Brampton, Ontario, who said, you know, come to our Remembrance Day celebration and see how many immigrants are wearing poppies. You know, it was just a completely uneducated shot. And to be fair, like he has said worse things, but the thing is,
it was like, just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, and it's, man, it was just like finally great that it's like, damn, okay, finally we're at a point where yes, we care and we're willing to make a choice. And I don't think that's because anything has changed in the minds of people like that. But it's just that there's more people who are willing to make that change, to do what's needed to be done to make that change, because we're no longer being tolerant of that intolerance.
I think that's beautiful. I don't think that's PC culture. I think we're just learning to accept other people better. I don't see how that's and I saw a tweet yesterday that was like people, you know, comedians who complain that they can't make any jokes anymore are like cringy as hell, and I agree with that from the concept of like, it's not that you're giving boundaries to be making jokes in, it's that you're expected to make jokes that are relevant now.
Yeah,
that's your job.
Funny.
Yeah,
I actually used to really enjoy watching Chris Rock.
Sure.
Until I realized that, like, holy crap, if you took like the 20 F-bombs he took out of that joke wouldn't actually be funny.
Oh, you know what? I have not experienced that yet, so you're probably shattering an illusion. I still think he's funny, but if I'm gonna do what you're talking about.
I think he is still funny, but literally listen to a joke and just take out the 20 F-bombs he uses to tell a joke.
Right.
Most likely you won't think that joke is funny. There still are jokes that are funny.
Sure.
But, you know, I've always respected like a comedian that I really enjoy, Dimitri Martin.
Oh my god, I love Dimitri Martin.
He is so funny, and like he just like he can literally take a piece of paper and he can draw something and take a line out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so smart. Like it's so different.
He did like the good, the bad, and the ugly, I think it was called, and like just little silly things that shouldn't be funny, and he just finds a way. And I know a lot of people don't like him, you know, some people don't find him funny.
I think his personality is a little abrasive from what I understand, but like I think he's awesome. I don't know, I think he's, but yeah, I know some people don't like everybody has even Dave Chappelle, like Dave Chappelle, I know he has told some, I can't remember, he had something in a stand-up recently. Recently he talked about like suicide in a very not cool way.
Not good way.
Yeah.
But still, even him, like, I think he walks the line. But it's funny how people, like, he couldn't show, he had to put it on his DVD, but he wasn't allowed to show him at, they did this, like, they did this pimp thing, and they did, like, a pimp science fair.
Okay.
And they went back in time to like slave times, and he shot a white slave owner to free the slaves, and he wasn't allowed to show that on TV.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The pimp ball, those guys, and they did a science fair. It was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But he wasn't allowed to show that on TV.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, double standard.
Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think he's really smart with his jokes. I think he told a bad joke.
Yeah, well, and
At the end
but
of the day.
that's like that's okay. That's his job is to be a comedian. He's going to
Yeah.
mess up and make a not so great joke. And the other thing, people will get like really on top of it and be like, he didn't apologize for this.
Yes.
And this happens on Twitter all the time. Yeah, that's fine,
Yeah.
but they didn't apologize for this. And I'm like,
Or their
you know
apology
what?
wasn't enough.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly my point. Is that I'll be like, but people have apologized, and it's usually not enough for you. Like, I don't know what is the appropriate level of atonement. That is my question right now to everybody around cancel culture, around like jumping on each other's throats. Like, what is enough of an apology? When has somebody atoned for whatever it is that they messed up on, did not do right? Like, and I haven't gotten an answer firmly from some. The answer that I have gotten is, oh, they need to go to therapy. And I'm like, whoa. Therapy's not a punishment.
Man. Yeah.
That's not, you don't get to go like it's not a 3 Hail Marys kind of situation. It's not you go to your priest and they're like, it's fine. Like, that's not what therapy is. It's not, anyway.
Yeah, I just, my hope for the world and the kids that are growing up, I mean, every day it feels like it's getting just worse and worse, because I think it's really just what we focus on. But I think if like everyone always says, oh well, there's nothing I can do, I can't do anything, and like you can 100%. Like, if you're a part of a community, never be afraid to stand up for what you believe in is really my go-to, because like at the end of the day, it's about the jokes people tell that you don't like and whatever, like never be afraid to say that bothers me, and you can learn a lot from somebody about how they respond to that.
Yes. And going back to the whole like guys checking like, oh, are you a girl or a guy? Am I gonna make a shitty gender-based joke right now or not? And that goes back to that same exact thing. Like, a guy should also not be comfortable hearing those jokes as much as you are. Like, it shouldn't matter who you're telling the joke to. The joke's not cool. It shouldn't be cool with anybody.
Yeah. And really, like, my reaction always is, I'm like, I heard those jokes when I was 10. Like, those aren't funny anymore. Like, they never were funny. They weren't funny then. They're not funny now. I mean, and it's at the end of the day, like, I try to not, invalidate my integrity. I try to just keep, like, this is how I feel about something, and they get to choose how they react to it. And their reaction tells me a lot about themselves. And I think a lot of people sit there and go like, oh, well, change. It's like, really, at the end of the day, people are just afraid to change.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, just like you can hold your tongue when you go, I guess, because people see video gaming as leisure. And now that, like, because before you used to sit on your couch by yourself. That's how we grew up, on our couch playing our game by ourselves. So we didn't have this responsibility of communicating with other people.
Right.
Now we have this responsibility of communicating with other people. You're in guilds of 500 people sometimes, or you're in a stream community of 1,000 people, and it all comes, we all come together. And yes, like, we don't want people to have to not be themselves. Like, we always say, be yourself, and that's the best way to go. But like, you do have to sacrifice a little bit. So like, I sacrifice my little bit. Like, if somebody tells a joke that I don't like, I don't jump down their throat about it. You know, like, I just tell them, hey, look, I don't like when you make those jokes. I'm sure you have many other jokes that aren't offensive. Can we
try those?
Because I learned a lot about myself. Like, I realized in my like late teens, early 20s, that like I would use other people to be the butt end of my joke.
Yeah.
And then like everyone's laughing, but they're not. And I'm like, I don't think I should do that anymore, because I know how I feel when people do it. And then like I really just started using like it was literally like a 180. I completely just changed overnight when I just like sat there and thought about it. I'm like, I mean, yeah, Raven, because like you're just easy. You're just an easy target. But like, it just, when you're using a group of people or a specific person to be your joke, like, I'm like, that's, man, like, it's not doing what the intent of a joke is supposed to do. Like, it's supposed to make people laugh at the end of the day. And like, when one, I mean, you're not going to make everyone laugh, but like, you shouldn't hurt them with the joke is what I'm trying to say.
Do you do the whole punch up, punch down theory thing?
Explain.
Okay, some people have subscribed to like the easiest way to explain what's cool and not cool, what's not cool is, are you punching up or are you punching down? So punching down
Okay, yeah.
is punching is and I'll reiterate it for chat so you know. But so punching down is if somebody is below you in status, below you in age, in any way, shape, or form, socially below you, and you're using them at the joke is made at their expense. Versus making the joke at the expense of somebody who like is fine, as of higher status, probably will never see, like making a joke about Britney Spears in your maybe not on stream, but like in your one-on-one conversations, it's probably fine. She's never gonna meet you, but if you do it to her in person, not really cool, because now you're punching down because she's there, and like that's hurtful. She's another person. But
so
anyway.
You're saying I shouldn't say go full Britney?
Yeah.
When Britney Spears is around.
Yeah, probably.
I would say we're gonna go full Britney.
Yeah, probably.
She might not like that.
Probably she wouldn't think it's fun. She would go by your account. Exactly like that.
I would hope she would. And flip me off, and 2007 Britney, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I read a short story when I was in high school, and it was about a group of kids who were poor, and there was a guy on the street. I can never remember the name of it. There's a guy that lived on their street who was very wealthy, and he didn't like helping other people, but he had his beautiful house, and that was his thing. And all these other kids on the street were poor. Guy goes away for a bit on vacation. They decide they're gonna destroy the house. So they go inside, and they don't just like go in with a wrecking ball. They go in and methodically deconstruct the house from the inside. And then they tie like a thing to a car, and the car drives away, and it pulls the house down. Like, the house is still structurally there on the outside.
Right.
They went inside.
Yeah.
And just took it apart.
Right.
And the whole thing was like, the kids watch the house come down. They see the old man come home and see his house falling down. They see his face, and then they all feel like crap, because at the end of the day, they just did it because they were jealous. And basically the book was like, do you want to be a builder or do you want to be a destroyer?
Yeah.
What do you want your life to be? And I started making those decisions then, that I never wanted anyone to feel the way that other people made me feel.
Yeah.
Unless they're a piece of crap to me, then I'll roast the hell out of you.
Sure.
But I never wanted to treat or make somebody feel that way. Like, I wanted to be a builder or a creator over being a destroyer. And that was the choice that I made in my life. And I'm not perfect at it. I know there's times that I'm definitely probably still a destroyer, but I'm doing my best to not. I'm actively trying to make, and even still, like, I found a couple months ago, like, I just got so sick of bitterness. People being so bitter and jealous, and just not, like, when people were sharing how they felt, like, because I feel like a lot of times what we do, especially when we're content creators, is we look into the cups of other people. Like, what do they have in their cup? I want what's in your cup. And they don't think about, like, how that person made their cup and filled their cup and all the things they put into it. And they just want it. And they don't think about the work that person had to do to get that. And then I just got so fed up with it. And I just started going on this tear of just being like super negative. And then I was like, man, holy crap. Like, what do people think of me now that I've like gone and allowed myself to be consumed by this annoyance? Because then it's like, also too, like, we see people on Twitter all the time complaining about affiliates, partners get this, affiliates get this. And it's just, it got too much for me, to the point where I'm like, I was just sick of seeing another post of people like making fun of partners. It's like, man, you don't know all the sacrifice that I do every single day, just to get on this stream and want to spend my time here. But, and it just kind of defeated me a little bit. But then, like, I had to really bring myself back to be like, yo, like, this isn't helping at all. This is just adding more fire to it, So, and it still happens.
Right. No, yeah. I also feel like there's a level of, and let me know if you agree or disagree. There's a level of not vindictiveness, but like holier than thou kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, like the guys who decide to break down the old man's house, right?
Yeah.
There's this idea that like, oh, you deserve to be punished. But not just that,
Mhm.
I deserve to be the person to
Yeah.
give you the sentence.
Yeah.
And that is a level of like when you think about it, that is entitlement. Like
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
that is a level of yeah, sorry.
And that's what got me, and that was exactly what was getting me. It's like, you think I got everything I have overnight? Like, no, I didn't
Right.
get this overnight. I struggled. Like, I got denied partner 2 times. Like, and I know other people have been denied more than me, and whatever. Like, man, like it was a lot of work, and it's an achievement, and I do my best to do whatever good I can with what I've received. I try to give back as much as I get, and I don't always get a lot. Sometimes, as a partner, like, people just assume, oh, well, you're a partner, you're doing really well. It's like, well, no, this has been really slow the
No, because
last 2 months.
I gotta
you
make
know
money. In addition, just because I slap the label partner on me does not like come with $1 million. We're not all ninja.
no,
Yeah,
you have to work for everything you get, and it can be exhausting,
and some
and
things
I
are out
think,
of your hands.
yeah, and I think, we sometimes, I personally probably should have just, I mean, I've really reduced how much I spend on Twitter because of how consumed I got. And I think it's just like really important to remember, like, focus on yourself, focus on what you can do and what you can change, and don't, like, take inspiration from other people,
Right.
but don't invalidate what they've done just because you have your feelings.
Yeah, but it's very hard. That requires self-reflection.
Yeah.
That requires knowing.
Yep.
It's usually not until the moment where you're like, "Oh shit, I'm hurting somebody. Oh, my actions like I meant to punish them, but who oh, I should not be hurting them. Like
Yeah.
I am not the person to punish them." Like that it takes that moment usually, I feel like for people. We all as much as we learn from other people's experiences, we all learn a lot from our own if we even if we have the ability to self-reflect. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, I really do believe some people go through life just like
Oh, totally.
just yeah,
Yeah.
never looking inward.
Yeah, if you can just learn, like, that's the biggest thing, and it sucks. It's hard to do, and I don't think I was really good at it until I went to college. For like what like going to college to be a therapist was the best thing I ever did, even though I haven't actively worked. God, I don't even know how long it's been, like 3 years now,
We didn't
I
even
guess.
talk about that. This is a mental health
Yeah.
stream. Ugh.
I mean, we can segue right now. It's a good segue
Yeah,
point.
well,
If you
are
guys
you
have
still cool?
questions
Are you
about that,
still
I'm
on?
still great. Yeah,
Okay.
Cooper rehydrated me, so I got my
Aw.
my water bottle. So we're gonna
Aw.
keep going. I'm good. I'm honestly just playing games tonight. So I'm as long as we're chat, as long as you guys are engaged, and as long as we're engaged, like, I'm good to keep going.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yeah, fire
Uh
it at me.
yeah, well, we'll throw it at you. So you were talking about it. I thought you were going to go back to it. So
Mhm.
you studied to be a therapist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Recreationally. Yeah,
Recreationally.
I did a degree, 4-year degree in recreation therapy, and and it's funny because I paid the $500 at the end and did my, like, certification, so I was
Okay.
a certified therapeutic recreation specialist.
Okay.
I worked in mental health. I got a job in my first year of school, and then worked my way, and then I got offered a job in community rec, because what I found, like, when I was in the States, although I did not like the system that I worked in, I felt like it was catch and release,
Mhm.
and there was no, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it, I'm like, where do you want these people to, like, how do you
Yeah.
expect these people to not
Yeah.
come back?
Right.
you
Right.
know we're looking at cases of people who've been in and out that year 60 times
Yeah.
in a acute care, which is 30 days, and it was crazy. I'm like, holy crap, man, like, how do you expect people to not come back when you don't put anything in place for them? And suddenly I was like, holy crap, I'm so glad I live in Canada. But, like, my opinion, even as a student, was way more valued in America than it was in Canada. Like,
Interesting.
it was crazy working in a setting in Canada where, like, where the doctors don't really care about your opinion. They don't really understand what it is that you're doing. Like, well, I don't understand how activities help people, like that was
Oh,
kind of
geez.
the,
Can you imagine what
yeah.
like video game therapists must be dealing with
Oh
right
my
now?
God.
Yeah.
Hmm. And so I started out, I worked in a program for kids whose parents have mental health problems. And it's funny because everyone, the whole thing was like, well, the kids don't have mental health problems, but when you grow up who's, in a home where who's when your parents do, things obviously come out, behaviors. And our goal of the program was just to give them like typical kid experiences. So we took them rock climbing, we took them to the beach, we did, I'd take 12 kids on a Saturday to a restaurant to have lunch. And that was like a whole
That's a
thing.
production. Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. And yeah, intergenerational trauma 100%. So just being like a positive role model, and eventually I did have to move on from that job just because of burnout.
Yeah.
People like to, so we were expanding because our groups were so successful, and then I was just getting more and more groups on my plate, and then my supervisor wasn't getting any more hours. So then things were falling through, like, you got to do waivers at the door for 12 kids to go rock climbing. That adds an extra hour to picking them up.
Yeah.
And just little things just get to you. And I ended up having to leave that job behind. But I worked with kids with schizophrenia, like anxiety disorders, all the way from like I think 8 years old to 18, 19.
And
For like
how
4
does
years.
that affect? Do you feel like that has an effect on you and how you interact with kids now in your
Oh,
stream?
I'm always like, I'm a youth worker at heart. Like that
Yeah.
was I did that for 10 years as well, like as another position. And that's what I ended up doing when I was doing my job that I quit to become a full-time streamer. 100%. Like I always love when like there's another person who's a youth worker who comes in, and we like they know what I'm doing when I'm like talking to kids and stuff. And it's funny, like Derpy gave me a shout out on Twitter a couple months ago that made me chuckle. Where he's like, he's like, from one youth worker to another, I see what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, I just love it. It's a way that you engage with kids, and it's at the end of the day, like, you know, I know like how my leaders and people that impacted me as a kid. I know how I remember like random little things that they probably didn't even think I'd remember that they told me, that like still to this day just stick in my head. And I can't even imagine what kids that I've interacted with, what's stuck in their head too. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
it's the little lessons. And like I said, people feel like they can't impact change as one person, but you can. And you have interactions with people every day, and you get to share those little tidbits of wisdom with people all the time. So that's what I really kind of valued from working in that job. And like just like being able to take a kid to the beach who's never been to the beach before because their mom is depressed and can't get them there. And it's really nuts how like we look at it as like a single, oh, that person has depression and that's why their life is so a mess. But like you don't realize like how far reaching it is. Like we dealt with
Yeah.
a family who their kids had lice so bad that the girl had like I could see the lice from across the room because she had scabs on her head from itching so much. She'd had lice for over a year. It's the only time I've ever called the government on a lice situation because it was so bad. And you know the thing was is like the mom has to get the lice out of the house. Like lice aren't bad to deal with, they're actually quite simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you don't have a washer dryer, then things are going to be a little bit more difficult. You don't have a car, you got to go to the laundromat that's half an hour away. If you're depressed and you can barely get out of bed, let alone wash all the sheets in your house and vacuum and do everything you need to do, like
Right.
it's really really hard. And we just look at it like, oh well, it's just depression. Like, well, no, it's
It's far
all the other
reaching.
little things that add up in the end that really kind of become it. So yeah. And I think also too, like most of the people that work in mental health too are people who suffer from it.
Hmm.
And I think too, like, you know everyone always thinks, they look at you like, oh, you have it all together because like you have a job and like you
Yeah.
work in this field, and like, oh, you do not want to be in this head right now, trust
Oh,
me.
buddy. Oh, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But you.
So
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I almost feel like sometimes too, like because it's such a demanding job too, like it really did impact my issues too. And I talk to people, on stream, and I try to, like, I've set a hard line now where like, you know, I can't be your counselor. Like,
Right.
yes, I want you to tell me that you're having a hard time.
Yeah.
And if you want to like go on like if you want to type it all out and tell me what's going on, like
Yeah.
fine. But I'm like, I can't converse with it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people having like it rubs off on me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you
You
know,
can't keep going on and being and no, I don't
taking
I don't
other people's stuff
yeah.
onto my
Yeah.
already stuff, because I'm naturally very empathic
Yes,
as is.
same.
Like I can always see, I see things in a million different ways, and then yeah, it's just like it becomes too much. So I really had to start now drawing a hard line with
Yeah.
people,
No,
being like,
I
I
draw
want to
that
help
line.
you.
Yeah.
I want to help you, but I literally can't. What I can do for you is I can give you a safe place to hang out. We
Yeah.
can have fun
But
and we
there's
can
a
joke
lot of
around.
value in giving somebody a space to just vent out. Like if you want to come in here and just tell me I had a crap day and then my mom said this and I did this and my shoes got ruined, like if you want to just like go and type out that paragraph and then that's it,
Mhm.
like that's cool, but I can't spend the time going back and forth
Yeah,
with you about, well, you should feel this way and have you thought
yeah.
about it this way? And I can just
Mhm.
be I can offer empathy and I can
Mhm.
be like, yo, that sucks.
Yep.
And but that's all I got. That's all I got.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it, you know, my dream now, like, uh, I would love, like, if maybe things were tight, whatever, with full time streaming and whatever. Like, I would love to, you know, and I've put the olive branch out to some professionals that I still work with and speak to, and just told them, like, look, if you have a client and you want to consult, I've had people reach out to me already that I've worked with that I've, and the answer for them is always, oh, remove video games, remove video games. So, like,
That's
you don't
not the
have to
answer.
remove video
Wait,
games.
wait, wait,
Like,
wait, wait. We can go on about this
we
for a
could.
while. No,
We
because
can.
you remove video games, but A, what are you replacing them with?
Hmm.
B, why are you removing them? C, why is the kid using video games to cope to begin with?
Yep.
What are they dealing with that they
Yep.
need to use video games in the way that they're using them? You can't just be like, we were talking about this before because China just enabled a curfew for kids who are
Hmm.
below 16
Hmm.
for video games specifically, and we're like, you can't just pick a thing and
Yeah.
be like, oh, that's the root of all the problems. Got it, nailed it,
Well,
all set.
a kid can be, say they're very creative. They can paint
Right,
for 10 hours. Nobody's gonna yell at them.
right.
The second they pick up a controller, you're
Oh,
ruining your life.
yeah,
I wish I could go back to like little me and be like, keep doing this. You're gonna do this for your career. You know, like I mean, I literally, I was talking to my girlfriend's uncle about it yesterday. We're like, yeah, you know, because we were talking about how, you know, his grandson wasn't allowed to have a Switch and blah 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 because he wouldn't give it up and whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, you got to teach some moderation now. Like when you
right.
really enjoy something, even though you enjoy it, it can still ruin your life.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and you got to teach some moderation and how to put it down. I'm like, you know, my parents didn't always do the right stuff, but they did a lot of good. Where we each had a, you know, an hour turn, so I couldn't just sit there and like all day until we all got money to buy our own consoles. Like me and my brothers all had jobs, so as soon as we could work, we had money. We could buy what we wanted. Um, and then my parents, like I've literally always been a PC and a console gamer since I was like 3 years old. And I would just sit on my computer until 5 in the morning playing video games once everybody else had gone to bed. One, it was the best time to game, and two, like I just really loved video games so much. And it was just funny because like I'm like, yeah, I mean, I tell kids all the time, like, make sure you do your homework and whatever, and then have time for fun. But you know,
you can't teach
I
it.
wish
Yeah,
I could go back and tell myself, like, hey, don't worry what you're doing, because I would like get really stressed out about it.
yeah.
And just don't worry about it. Just like keep doing what you're doing, because you're gonna do this for the rest of your life, probably for your career.
That's
But,
awesome. That's
yeah,
really
it's
amazing.
insane. And I you know, the hope always is just keep it going, and a big piece of that is just, you know, diversifying and, you know, finding different avenues. Like you really, I just tell everybody, if you can find something that you can monetize, like just do it. Chase your dreams. Like don't be miserable at your I was talking to an Uber driver about it. You know, he's like talking about how he's like, you know, I'm not gonna get rich off working for Uber, but my life changed. I have more money. I have a better life now. I'm my own boss, and you know,
Yeah,
it's crazy how much, because you know, day job, they always say you don't quit your job, you quit the environment. And
Yeah.
that was 100%. I quit the environment because the environment wasn't healthy for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of work environments, they don't like the entrepreneurs. So if you're going off
Yes.
onto your own path,
Yep.
I don't know if it's like what the jealousy or whatever it is, but you know, I'm like, don't you see how this can like also benefit you guys? But yeah, it's just the toxic environment just was kicking the crap out of me. So I'm like, I don't care if I have to find another job, I will. But yeah, I want to do this for the rest of
And I always, and I've said this to like content creators who have asked me, like, oh, what do you think? Should I do it? Should I take the leap? Like, will I be able to like handle it? And my response is always like, well, don't be dumb about it, right? Like, if you're making $2 on Embers right now per month, don't go and quit your. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But set yourself up for a better situation. Like, hey, start selling merch, whatever it is. Like, start creating that bedding for yourself. But at the same time, and I repeat this so often to myself as well, there will always be a job that will underpay you and overwork you in a crappy environment. That job is always there. It is hard to find a job where you like your boss and you like the environment and you feel welcome and you don't mind spending time there. That's hard. Quitting that job for streaming, maybe don't do that. Maybe, you know, figure out your priorities and then decide.
Yep.
But like, really, like, you quit the environment, you can go and find another job with a shitty environment.
Yep.
Like that. It's
Easily.
not hard.
They're dime a dozen.
Yeah.
They're really not hard.
Yeah, because people leave those jobs and they need to hire new people. Yeah. So like, it's not worth it if you can not be miserable. It's way more worth it to take a second and
Totally.
pursue something. So you can't see yourself going back. So consulting is cool. By the way, I should put you in touch with like video game therapists. That
you should. Yeah, if you know anybody who wants to listen to a Canadian.
No, I'm serious. Well, it might be a little bit of an issue.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Is the issue with it?
Well, no. Take This works international. Like TakeThis.org, who I'm an ambassador for. They work internationally.
They do. That's very true. So you should get me in touch with them.
I would love to get you in touch with them.
Because the biggest thing I found working in mental health is like all these people were coming in with like, bipolar, whatever, mental health addiction, mental health problems. But then they also had this like co-occurring like video game addiction.
Yeah.
Because mental health and addictions, like they go hand in hand.
Sure.
And I would always be able to get through and crack the people who love video games because, you know, I would talk to them about video games and then that like compliance level would just go up when it was me. Yeah. Because it's like, they're like, oh, you know, and
you
at
get
the end of the day, yeah, exactly. It's like, and I could sit there and talk to them about it and I wasn't shaming them.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It was, the people are always like, how do you do it? I just talk to them.
Yeah, I just don't prejudge them. And again, like I was the kid, so you stayed up until 5 a.m. playing video games. I read books. Yeah. And nobody...
I also love to read too.
Yeah, but I would stay up until 5 a.m. and nobody ever, except my stepmom later on in life was like, you know, boys don't like you because you're too nerdy. Which is a different, separate problem. But, and it was true, but also like a separate problem. But like I did that and nobody other than that terrible person would ever be like, oh no, she has an issue. And I did have issues. I had terrible depression. I couldn't sleep. It's exactly what Sweet Justice just said. You know, I used to play Saint Andreas after hours because my anxiety wouldn't let me sleep. I couldn't sleep. I had terrible depression and terrible anxiety. So I would sit up and read Harry Potter and reread Harry Potter in several languages because that was way better than dealing with whatever was going on in my head. Was I addicted to books? No, I had depression, and then that resulted in me like overusing.
I think we're addicted to stories. At the end of the day, I think we like reading
just
about
people people like stories.
Put ourselves in their life and we don't have to be in our shitty life right now. You know?
Totally.
I mean, I feel like Harry Potter's life might be a little bit worse than mine.
Yeah, to be completely honest,
I don't want to be Harry Potter.
No, like he did not have like an easy go of it, you guys.
I'll be Ron Weasley though.
Yeah, he had a because he was just a
got
friend.
Hermione in the end.
Yeah.
I had a big crush on Hermione.
Oh my
He got
gosh.
Hermione.
I wanted to be
I'll
Hermione.
take Ron. I'll take Ron Weasley.
Oh my God, the quote that I love telling people, just to give you an idea of how nerdy I was in high school. I showed up one year in like Gryffindor robes, and this one girl was like, "So, like, you're just like a Gryffindor student?" And I was like, "No, I'm Hermione, get it? Because like my hair's all messy." And she was like, "Oh, it's not very different than usual." And
Oh,
it was such a burn.
Oh,
And I remember being like, "Oh, haha," and like walking away and then being like, ow, wait, that's not cool at all. Wait, what? My hair is like I was self-conscious about my hair through the rest of my high school career.
Me too. Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have like a martial arts instructor who he didn't like the frizziness. You know, you get
Oh,
frizzy
okay,
on the
sure,
top. He didn't,
sure.
because I had long hair at the time. He didn't like my like hair frizz, and he's like, "Why don't you get like frizzies or something?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I hate my hair, dude, already.
Yeah. Why are you worried about my hair at all? Like, is it, can we focus on something else?
Yeah, like I just remember all these things that like, you know, people would just like nitpick, and I'm just like, trust me, I have a fucking problem with it too.
Yeah, trust me, I know. Yeah, this bothers me, but for different reasons, because people like you ask me about it all the time.
They're like, why does it matter?
Yeah, no, I had the stereotype of like dumb blonde was totally. So then I would say something smart and people would be like, "Yeah, but she doesn't really know that." Yeah. Or wow, or like, "Oh yeah, but like let's ask somebody else cuz I need somebody to confirm what she just said."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that's the thing that I think people lose is that we suffer in different ways, 100%. We all like everybody, and I definitely can say that in certain situations somebody had it worse than I had. Like, absolutely. But that does not take away my ability to be able to empathize and just be like, yo, your situation sucks. I've not felt the level of adversity that you went through, but I know what adversity feels like, and it feels terrible. And if you're experiencing it to the nth degree, that sucks. And I'm really sorry, and I want to be here for you.
Yeah, and some people, like, you know, I mean, resiliency is a trait. Like, some people are just built to be more resilient than others. And, like, I explain it about, you know, me and my friends get in the spanking debate all the time.
Because, kids spank kids or not? Huh.
Yeah, we get in this debate all the time. They're like, well, I was spanked when I grew up, and I was fine. I'm like, yeah, you also, like, are a very resilient person. Like, you know, had all these other things that went on in your life that normally would have broken other people, and you continued on. It's like, you know, we talk about, like, whenever I talk to my friends about addiction and mental health problems, and like when they see homeless people or like people who have a drug addiction, that, oh, that, you know, that fucking crackhead over there ripped off my house and they took all this and man, they fucking, like, all the time I would hear it. And I'm like, okay, but like, as an example, like, we'll just say, well, do you know that person was sexually abused when they were 4 years old?
Right.
And that's why they started using drugs.
Right.
Like, you don't know that when you're looking at the person. You just assume that person's a piece of shit.
Yep.
Because they use drugs and they have to feed their drug habit, they steal. I'm like, there's a reason for everything. Right. And like, if you can just sit there and go, what could we do for that person?
Right. Instead of,
that could take that away. Like, could we put them in counseling? Could we put them, and it doesn't work because not everybody's ready to, you know, embrace or to accept the things that happen to them, you know. And I actually, for the longest time, I really did want to work in the prison system as a recreation therapist, because, like, why are people in prison, you know?
Not because they had an amazing life.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and I didn't want to do it because I don't agree with how the Canadian system runs their, like, I don't agree with our penal system. I don't agree. I feel like we focus way too much on the punishment side and we don't focus on the rehabilitation. And that's why.
But a lot of countries have that issue. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And whenever somebody from Norway comes to my stream and they're like, "Oh, I'm from Norway," I'm just like, "Oh my god!
Tell me about how it's better."
Because their prison system is just, maybe it's not perfect, but it's still, even in how the people see prisoners, like the guy who shot up that camp, the youth camp, like hearing the parents of the children who were murdered talk about that man with forgiveness and empathy, you know? And it was like so mind-blowing to see that. Where in America, it would be, you know, string them up, like, you know,
Yeah.
they all focus on the wrong thing, and it's never,
It's the
like,
punishment. It's how do we,
yeah,
how do we level? It's always like there's like somebody feels like there's a misbalance, and somebody needs to dole out a punishment, and that's like
yeah.
the consistent.
It's that transaction that they need,
Yeah.
not the actual, like, you know, and that's like, like, you know, mass murder is a completely different
Sure.
thing that, you know, we can't really, I don't know, I don't think you can put it. But that being said, you know, I was really lucky, and I got to do 16 hours of training in a threat assessment program. And it was the guy who led the program. He's actually Canadian from like Nova Scotia. He's like about my height, 5'3". He's got like the curliest hair ever. It literally has a Jerry curl. And he's the guy that the FBI and the CIA call when they are debriefing an incident. So like San Bernardino, you know, all these big shootings that happen, you know, all the school shootings, he's literally debriefed every school shooting since Columbine.
Wow.
And I got to have 16 hours of training from him. And, you know, we're talking about radicalization. And, you know, he's like, you know, you can have a person come to this country and they won't be a radical. But, you know, they start getting, you know, they get information, whatever, and then they see how we treat them. And that's what leads to the radicalization.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the same, you know, it's the same for drug abuse.
Right.
For,
right.
you know, any addiction, it's how we then treat them. You know, and it's horrible, and I really wish like we could like, you know, raise a magic wand and wave it and fix everything, but you know, it just can't.
That's not where we are.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
It does.
It sucks.
It totally sucks. Oh man, we promised you a conversation that went everywhere. We've been around town.
We delivered.
Oh my god, I don't even like. I was for a second trying to imagine what the description is gonna be, and I think it's just gonna be. We talked about a lot of stuff. I'm just. We have 2 questions, you guys. Exclamation and the letter Q, and then your question. 1 question only at a time can be registered in the queue. But please be sure to ask away. So we have.
I know Beats was putting some down.
Yeah, one. Yeah, there's one. I mean, if you type 2 questions, it won't register the second question. So it's only 1 question at a time. But yeah, we talked. Best description. Yeah, as opposed to my 2 years of other interviews where we just sit in silence and stare at each other for an hour. VVCA asks, what advice would you give to new streamers learning to overcome anxiety while streaming? Oh, I made a video on this. Go ahead.
Personally, I would just like really, you know, figure out how much you can handle. If you can't handle more than a 4-hour stream for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, set a time for yourself, be consistent meeting that time. And like, just be really honest with yourself. Take breaks if you have to. I mean, if maybe adding the camera aspect adds extra anxiety, don't use a camera. Like, there's lots of like little things that you can do. Really, it's just like working with like, you know, your own limitations. You got to really look in, having a good mod team. You know, my mod team has always been there for me, and you know, they support me and help me through this stuff. So I think that's the best thing that you can do.
There you go. Apparently, I'm being notified I posted the wrong link.
Oh, that might have been my bad. I probably sent it to you wrong.
I literally copy pasted it, guys.
Yeah,
so
I sent it wrong. That was my bad.
So hold on. I'm gonna.
The problem when you have a name from a word in another language is people have your name.
What does that mean? What does Asikaa mean?
Okay, so my original, so it comes from my World of Warcraft character name.
Okay.
So my original name was Asika, like no double A, single A at the end.
Okay.
And it meant sneaky or stealthy because I play as a rogue.
Okay.
The Sanskrit word.
Mm-hmm.
You add a second A on the end, and suddenly it means like sugar.
Huh.
In Punjabi.
Huh.
So I get a lot of interesting messages on Facebook.
Oh boy.
On my Facebook page.
Oh boy.
Yep. A lot of it, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Mr. Beats asked, how is the best way to go about dealing with being a full-time streamer, and what does it really take to do it?
What does it really take? I mean, the thing is you got to look at your cost of living.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how much it costs for me to exist. I mean, space too. Like, I'm in a space I live on. Like, I live with my girlfriend. Our space isn't perfect. If my girlfriend washes the dishes, you guys hear everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but living at home, I don't think I could have been a full-time streamer when I lived at my mom's house. So,
Right.
So appropriate environment. Um, is the amount of money that you're gonna make? Is it gonna cover your cost of living? There's a lot of things that have to go into it. And, for me, I honestly was not like, put money in your savings, save your money. I went into it and I did the thing that they say not to do. And I went in with barely any savings. Like, I had nothing saved. So literally, like, when I have a bad month, like, I got to be really careful. But at the end of the day, the passion, it just focuses me and it motivates me, and it's what I want to do. So I'm just going to do and sacrifice whatever I have to do to make it happen. So, and really what I found though is not working. I ended up saving a lot of money. So still have to pay rent. And Big Baby Scumbag, your name literally is so descriptive. No, I'm not a transformer, but thank you for asking.
I mean, I'm gonna say though, like, being a transformer is pretty cool.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Like, of all the things that you could be, a transformer's pretty badass.
I would 100% be Optimus Prime.
Yeah, like that's
100%.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could still go take a hike.
Autobots roll out.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, you could still go take a hike. Because you meant it offensively. But my point is, like, Transformers are really badass. Like, that would have been like, oh, who's the Power Ranger on the left side? Right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Then you got to pick a color and.
Yeah. No, it's very difficult.
But back to being a full-time streamer, save your money, stockpile your money as much as you can, and yeah, honest. If it's what you want to do, like, it takes a lot of work to maintain it. Like, you constantly have to. You can't just sit there and turn the camera on and stream. You have to actually, like, it's a lot of work, and like, there's a lot of avenues that, like, I don't even maintain that I really need to, because a lot of times, like, I mean, even though I'm mentally, like, my mental health is better, I still deal with depression every day. Yeah. I still deal with anxiety every day. Yeah. And, You
mean being a streamer doesn't solve your mental health? More at 9 with Asikaa.
I know, shocking. But there's a lot of things that I don't do. Like, I should maintain my YouTube better. I should be better I should do this. I should do that. There's so many things that you have to do, and you got to stay relevant. Like, you got to be willing to change. And, if you want to go full time, like, it is a commitment, because you literally become, 6 or 7 people could do the job that I do for myself. Yeah. And also too, like, teaming up with like my stream team is like, they always have been super supportive of keeping me going full time. Like, I don't know if I could do it alone. Aww. Right? Like, I have a group of people who build me up and support me too. So going at it alone too, if I was like, you know what, I want to test the winds of change, like, that would be a big move.
It's scary stuff.
And you need people that back you up, at the end of the day. But yeah,
so make sure
isn't for everyone.
Make sure you have a good support system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it literally is not. Like,
hey!
Dad Got Game is on a new team, but, like, we're still family. You know what I mean? Always still family. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I got mad love for that guy right there.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I'm interviewing him too later.
Are you? Oh, that's
yeah,
so
like,
exciting.
I think in January. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. That's awesome. But yeah. Sorry. Next question.
Oh, wait. No, we all took a second to appreciate
We
Dad
did,
Got
we
Game.
did.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hey.
No, you're good, Dad.
Hey, yeah, shout out
You're
for
good,
sure.
dude.
For sure. If you're not following, by the way, if you're not following Asikaa and you're not following Dad Got Game, I don't know what you're doing here because I feel like everybody who's come into my streams who didn't come from Twitch is from these people because they've been so that both of you guys have been so like beyond immeasurably supportive of what I'm doing, and I'm just honored. And yeah, so thank you. The next question is Shonam Shogun asks, what event or occurrence in your childhood youth was formative in your development into adulthood? I feel like we kind of answered this, but if you want to give like a little bit of a summary.
Honestly, I would feel like, I mean, it was honestly every single person that was like shitty to me, to be honest.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
they really helped, you know, make me realize like the kind of people I don't need in my life.
Right.
And also like, yeah, how to be a stronger person, like how to deal with, because like, God, imagine if I'd never made fun of and then I was like, turn on a stream, you know? Like, imagine if I'd never had that, like if I was an only child and didn't have two older brothers, or maybe I was the older sibling, you know? I don't know. I mean, I feel like I had a lot of like really awesome like adults in my life too. Like, you know, I trained in, no, you're good, Shonam. Don't worry, brother. He was sitting there last night thinking of like all these questions. He was in my chat, like,
that's so wow. But that's so wow. That's dedication. Thank you so much for caring that much. Thank you.
And yeah, I just think like all the adults, and it's funny because I've always gotten like conflicting advice from adults, like especially like some of my youth leaders too. Like there's like some of them were like, yes, like the happy friendly path, and then there's like one dude would just like give it to me straight. He'd be like, you know what? Because I told him one day there's this kid that was like giving me shit nonstop.
Yeah.
Just every single day. He'd see me, he'd give me shit. And one day we were in grade 10. I just turned around and I fucking punched him in the face. I just turned around and I had just started boxing and I just freaking clocked him in the face. And I didn't hit him hard because I never actually could. Like, I'm actually a big pacifist, even though I did 6 years of martial arts. And I'm a pacifist, man. When it actually came to hitting, I could hit the pads really hard. But when it came to like hitting somebody, I could never do it.
Right.
My brother Liam, I could freaking punch him in the face a lot. But other people, it was really hard for me to do. And I didn't hit him hard, but he was like, oh. He literally, he's like, she hit me.
Taken aback. Yeah.
He never messed with me ever again.
Heck yeah.
And like, I know if I'd brought that story to, you know, certain people, they would have been like, that's not right, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I tell people too, like, we had a kid in my stream the other day say that he like punched a kid out for being racist at school, which I'm like, yeah, that's really great and all, but like,
don't be punching
don't
people.
really do it, because I'm like, you know what, to be honest, dude, like, I don't want you getting your ass kicked.
Right.
Is really what I don't want to see happen.
Right.
Also, you're just emboldening a racist when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, but yeah, my one youth leader just always kept it to me straight. Like, there's one time where I had a bunch of girls like threatening me, and he's like, you know what you got to do? He's like, just go in your kitchen and get a big knife. And I'm like, I look back now and I'll tell people that, like, hey, do you want to hear this advice that Francois gave me when I was like 17? And they're like, yeah. And I tell them, and they're like, oh. And he's like, what the hell? Stop telling that story. But yeah, literally, like, he's like, yeah, just get a big knife. And like, do you have a big dog? I'm like, no, I have a Karen Terrier. He's like, okay, then get 2 knives.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Horrible advice.
Yeah.
Horrible advice.
I was told repeatedly to punch people as well, I remember. Just like sock them back. Or my cousin would be like, you come, well, I had a big Greek family. So they'd be like, you come over to me, you tell him, and I'll go sock him. And I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
And he did one time, and that was terrifying.
And you're like,
because I didn't know what would happen. I just came because it was like he was the adultish person I knew, and a kid hit me in the stomach. He like full on punched me in the stomach because I was, quote, annoying him. So I ran to my cousin and I was like, he just punched me in the stomach. And he's like, he what? And he like, it was not good. And I was like, I should not have said anything. Man, I feel terrible. And then I was called a snitch by the group. So like, I lost that friend group anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good time. Yeah, I mean, violence was the answer, but it was very passive violence.
Passive
It was
violence.
one like little, I bopped him.
Yeah.
I gave him a bop.
Little bopperoonie. It's enough to scare you, right? Because like a bop will be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, next question. So does streaming have a net positive effect on your mental health as duo?
Oof. Net positive. I would say it does because, you know, I really try to not like, I work through the stuff, and like I tell my girlfriend when stuff is bothering me, and I tell my mods when stuff is bothering me, so I get to like talk it out. And at the end of the day, the turnaround is so much more worth it and valuable to me. And I always felt like I wanted, like I've always been a performer, whether it was acting or music or whatever. Never really been a drawer, but I've always done something because you know I would look around and I'd never see somebody that looked like me in a movie or a show or whatever. Like I didn't feel like I had a role model that looked like me. And so I feel like now I'm like, or was like the same experience or whatever. And so I just really wanted to put myself in a position where I could be that for other people. So that that payoff at the end of the day is being that positive role model for others. And I don't have to get rich or get famous off it. I just want to be able to eat food every month. That's it. And pay my bills. Maybe buy a small house. Maybe.
Aww.
That's it. That's just what keeps me going.
Do you think also partly it's like the fact that you're your own boss and you're not answering to other people, and that ultimately weighs over? Because that's
like I always find when like you have a highly when you have a highly creative person or like a highly intelligent person, like people who excel, I feel like I excel in a different level than other people do. But then when you put me in a work environment or a school environment, I don't do well because that environment doesn't match me. And like I just found, because I stayed up and played video games every night and did all these things, like it was so easy for everyone to be like, well, you're not meeting your roles at work because you play video games until I'm like, well, what time did you watch TV till last night?
Right. You probably fell asleep watching TV until 3 a.m.
Yeah. So it's just like I was a very easy scapegoat.
Yeah.
Also because I wouldn't like defend myself either, So it was kind of a struggle in that sense where like, and also too, like, I don't know, my job was just like extremely weird. I can't even really put a finger on it why. Because work stress was the main reason. Like I literally like I could do something 100% right and it would still be wrong. Didn't matter what I did.
Well, it's just the people. That's just the people.
Yeah, and like having to, I worked in an at-risk girls program, and I always struggled with the, with the school district staff, because like I had no support from my supervisor managing our day-to-day relationships with the other staff who weren't employed by my employer. So it's like, a partnership, right? So, but I'm like, can you like not be on your phone? Because like when you're on your phone, I'm responsible then for the entertainment of 8 at-risk girls who, that could be really freaking challenging, and it's exhausting. And then I got in trouble for telling this girl to not go on her phone, which my supervisor had told me to do. And then she totally just like threw me under the bus on that stuff. And I talked to like my main supervisor about it. Just finally a few months later, I almost quit on the spot because they were like getting pissed at me and stuff for just, whatever. And I'm like, well, you guys forced me off like, girls group. And they're like, whoa, you asked to leave girls group. I'm like, because you weren't helping me.
Oh my gosh.
It was just, so I'm like, it was
so that doesn't happen in streaming. So that doesn't
happen per se. I don't know. I mean,
well,
it can get frustrating.
Whitey Gamer's making a point, like kind of your boss is kind of your viewers in a way.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Like people will come in and they'll be like, "Yo, Asikaa, did you see this person got like 500 subs today, and somebody donated like 200,000 embers to them and 20 million sparks and blah blah blah." And I'm sitting there looking at my, my money, and I'm like, "Shit, man." And I'm like, "That's really great for that person."
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm so happy.
Like, you like something to me, maybe. It gets really weird in those situations, because it's like, because I don't want to be open and be like, "Oh guys, yeah, it's been a really slow month," because that'd
Right.
be really crappy of me to do.
Right.
It's like, okay, I need to do something else. So then it's just like project.
But you're also
let's
in a
make
weird position where like you don't have control over how people's
Mhm.
finances are that
totally.
month over
Totally.
because it could not be personal to you. It's not like they don't
Mhm.
want to subscribe to you. It could be my finances
Yep.
suck. Oh my god, my car just broke. Like I have other priorities this month and I can't sub to you, or like, hey, I lost my job, like whatever it might be. And then you're
Yep.
trying to overcompensate that from your end, being like, oh my god, I gotta innovate, I gotta do this thing, I gotta do, but
Mhm.
like it's not something you can control at all. And that part,
Yeah.
that's very unique to this job.
It is. And you just gotta you gotta look at it and be like, okay, it's been a crappy month. I just gotta ride it out. Just gotta ride it out. And that's where the like being frugal thing, like you need to give up some things,
Yeah.
for the greater good.
Yeah.
To
For your own greater good.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Eating out of your fridge instead of off DoorDash and whatnot. You save a crap ton of money, by the way, guys.
Oh my gosh. But I can't cook for my life. Like I burned a frozen egg roll today. So leave me alone with my DoorDash. Don't. It was hurtful enough. It was so dry and disgusting. Okay, next question. Last question. And then I'm going to close up the question queue and we're going to call it an evening because this has been phenomenal. And I would rather have you on again because we clearly could talk forever. This is amazing. Okay, last question is, what is the best advice you can give for a socially awkward person to stream? Asked Mr. Beats.
Socially awkward person to stream. I mean, I'm socially awkward. I know it doesn't seem that way, but I am 100%.
Yeah, you look at streamers and they're all socially awkward, but you look at them. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time we go to a convention, people are like, I'm socially awkward. And I'm like, everybody in this room is socially awkward.
Yeah.
God, like we all are at the end of the day. And like, yeah, like even like Papa Finch, man. Like I look at Papa Finch and I'm like, that's a cool fucking guy right there. I would never go and be like, yo, he's socially awkward, you know what I mean? But you don't see what's going on in his mind, when he's sitting here talking to you, you know what I mean? It's really hard to like to understand that about people. Oh, thanks, man. But yeah, for socially awkward people, honestly, like I said, so similar to the advice that I gave earlier, it's just try to not go beyond what you can put on a good show, especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah. Less
is more. Don't think like people go to me and they're like, oh, how long have you streamed today? I'm like, 13 hours. And they're like, whoa. I'm like, well, it's my job. Like, this is my money. I have to do this. Like, I want to be here also. But like, I have to. Like, when you're just starting out, like, you don't have to. You can stream 6 to 9 after work. Like, if you've been working all day and you're exhausted, you got to give somewhere. You know what I mean? So, like, just set a schedule. I would honestly recommend not freaking out if you can. You know what I mean? Like, not getting, like, in games get mad. Like, get you mad. Like, what we were talking about at the start.
I was going to say, all right, nailed it. I'm just never going to get mad again, ever again. Perfect. No problem. Got it.
Externally, do not get mad.
Right.
Because if you're, like, a rager and, like, I feel like people
I can't play. That's part of the reason why I don't play games is that I get frustrated because it takes me so long to figure it out. And I'm like, but that's not interesting to watch, and I'm just mad. Like... Yeah.
And like, so if you're like playing like Call of Duty, I know Mr. Beats plays a lot of Call of Duty. Like, create an environment that people want to be in, and to do that, it might be only streaming for 3 hours a day, so that you can, like anytime Koopa plays a game, I'm like, can you stop? Because she's just behind me, and then it's making me mad.
Right.
And then it's crazy, but yeah, like that's where I think it's important because like. I feel like, especially in my community, a lot of us all deal with anxiety, and I feel like when I get angry, it triggers them. So I'm like I'm trying to be a trigger-free zone. So ragers are funny sometimes, but when it's all the time.
Oh, they are. Yeah, but if like you come to this person's stream and all they do is rage, and they're like genuine. There's another thing where there's like rage, and then there's like genuinely somebody's pissed. Like you could tell. You're like, that's cringy to watch. You're like, you're not having a good time. I feel like I shouldn't be here. Like, I feel like this is a private moment for you.
Yeah. But yeah, take time, set a schedule, try to not go beyond it. Really just focus on remembering, okay, this is not just me sitting here playing a video game. Like you do gotta provide some kind of entertainment. Unless like you don't care. Then you're like, I'm just playing to play, and people like want to just sit and chat with you. Like that's a completely different story. But if you're actually wanting to get growth, build a community, focus on something that like for me, for example, like I focus on creating a positive environment. And so to do that, I have to do XYZ. So if you're not able to do XYZ anymore, you know, then it's like, okay, time to end for the night, you know?
Right.
So really just manage it. I'm not saying to not get mad. You're more than welcome to get mad.
Well, and you can't always help it.
And cope. Have coping skills. Self-care is super important. We didn't really get a chance to touch on it too much, but you know, making sure you're reaching out to people, talking.
I hear you're in a self-care video that's coming out tomorrow, I think. So maybe people will hear. I gave everybody a preview. Everybody watched it with me today. The community
great
did.
Advice in the video.
Yeah, but you have to watch the video to find out. For those of you who haven't watched it,
I'm not giving any secrets. But make sure just take care of yourself, because people know, and if you want to actually grow your channel, like I hate when I see on Twitter people being like, I don't understand why people don't want to watch me, and I'm like, just go through your Twitter feed, man. Like, you're so negative.
Right.
People don't want negativity. People want to be uplifted by a person. This is their leisure time. They're choosing to spend it with you, so don't, you know, I feel a massive responsibility whenever somebody, you know, when I have people in my stream, because, you know, I'm there to entertain you. If people tell me I cancel my cable bill because I love watching you, you know, and it's like, oh, that's such a compliment, you know, and it's like, now I got to be more entertaining, you know.
Oh, now I'll be entertaining. I wasn't putting it on before. Yeah.
Now it's like you're choosing me over TV. But yeah, I mean, that's just like advice for starting, and it's practice. Like, just see it as practice to the future of bigger, better things.
You're such a beautiful human being. I can't. Oh yeah, this is the part where I give compliments and you explode. That's it. Like I'm gonna ruin Asikaa just because like she'll explode from compliments, and then that's it. You guys can't watch her stream anymore. I'm really sorry. Here's her links if she makes it through this next segment.
My cheeks. Yeah, the cheeks.
I am so grateful for you. I don't know what made you go, hey, I'm gonna help this person out, but you've done so much to help me out, and I am grateful.
Well, I have seen you. I'd seen you on Twitter, like, so I knew who you were when you started. Like,
that's still really cool. You still looked at my Twitter and were like, yo, I can endorse that. That's huge. That's not a small thing. I take that very seriously.
Yeah, but anybody who is fighting the good fight is good in my books. So.
Aw, well, you're incredible, and you're very inspiring, and I've learned so much from you just watching you these past like 3 months that I've been streaming, and I'm super grateful to have you in my corner and to be slowly growing a friendship with you. Like, that's really freaking cool. So that's kind of the end. Do you have any closing remarks? Anything else that you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, guys, like, don't let anybody else hold you back. If you want to do something, don't even let your anxiety hold you back. Like, if you have something that you want to do, like, just go out there and do it. And like, I mean, the biggest thing I ever did was just chase this stupid little dream.
It's not stupid, you know? Or little.
But you know, it was going out on a limb and trying something that, like, I mean, a lot of people I'm sure in my life are like, what are you doing? You know, but don't let anybody stop you. And if you feel like you have something to share with the world, that's what I feel like we do in streaming, is we share ourselves with the world, and don't be afraid of it. Yes, there's going to be crappy people out there, but there's a lot of great ones. So, you know, chase your dreams, and, you know, don't let anybody stop you. Anybody or anything.
Oh my gosh. You're so wonderful. Thank you, everybody who was here. I am going to host somebody, so please stick around for that. I will see you next week when we'll be interviewing stick around and check out my Twitter to know who we're interviewing next week.
Ooh,
Yeah, I am taking off for the rest of the week, so I will keep you posted about that as well. I love you guys all so much. Thank you so much, Asikaa, for being here. So
no
to
problem.
finish off, we usually here have a saying, if you feel like the world is dark out there and you feel like nobody can give you the love and the care and the support that you need, you go out there and you give that to others. So you go out there and you be the light. So if you don't mind reminding people what they should be, Asikaa.
Be the light.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Be the light, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye.